Hello!
Hello.
Hi!
Hi.
Hello! Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Oh no. The yawns have begun.
You're gonna.
I'm setting it off. It's time to start yawning, everyone.
Oh crap.
Okay, we'll make it through. Alright, I got my 3 water
Thanks.
bottles ready.
Oh dang.
I'm ready. Hydration. I got a hydration station, but without all those powders that those girls
Dang.
have. Those ladies. You know what? I never even noticed that really. Like most of the water talk videos that I've seen or looked at, they were all women. Not a lot of male water talkers out there.
Huh. Aw.
Yes, quite
I don't really watch
strange.
water talk.
Well, I mean, I meant like when we covered it, you know?
Oh, when we covered it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really notice that.
Yeah, me neither. Until just now when I thought about it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I might need to make myself a iced matcha because, girl, I'm like, eepy. What is happening? Oh, I don't have milk. No. I only have stinky real milk, and that's gonna make my
Dang.
tummy hurt, so I can't drink that.
Oh
Right? Well, no
dang.
matcha for me. No iced
That's sad.
matcha for me.
I
It's
really
fine.
don't wanna. Crap! I really don't wanna drink caffeine if I don't have to.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, we're awake. We're awake. We don't need caffeine. We're so awake right now. It's gonna be so epic. Okay, fine. I'm just holding in the yawns.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't really work out. Immediately the yawn came out, so it didn't really work. Whatever, man. We'll just be eepy today. That's okay. We're allowed. Allowed to be eepy. I was wondering if I should put on my my Senor Sero costume, but I decided not to.
Oh god. That's up to you. That is totally up to you.
No Senor Sero today. Though that is a wonderful memification of my myself, my inner self.
Your inner self.
Yeah,
I love
there's
that.
2 wolves inside me. One of them is reading a book, and the other one is Senor Sero with the mustache. Yeah. Little cat dressed up as a. Why can't I think of what mariachi? There we go, mariachi band. Participant. I'm the one on guitar. On the little guitar. That was my favorite thing when I went to Mexico. I got one of those little tiny guitars. It was blue. I don't know if I still have it. I think I might. It might be upstairs in the closet. But I got a sombrero and I got a little guitar. And me as a kid, I was thrilled. Could not be more thrilled to have those items. And I got a bunch of candy. Per usual. Mexican candy is
Love that.
life. Yeah. And we went to a seafood restaurant and it was so good. Best seafood I've had ever. Like, even up till this day. Like, I can still remember. So I always
really?
like judge the seafood with that memory. And maybe my memory is like over praising this restaurant, but it was like, kind of by, I don't know how close it was to the ocean actually. I think we were in Chihuahua, but I don't remember. I'm not really sure. I was a kid. I just remember the seafood was good. The Mexican candy was good. My little sombrero and guitar were awesome.
I thought you were gonna say good
No,
again.
no, not good.
Would have
Awesome.
been funny.
I'm pretty sure I brought it to show and tell or something. Like my sombrero, not the guitar. I only brought my sombrero. Because it was like really like decorated. It was like super like beaded and stuff, and it was cool. I don't have it anymore. I definitely don't have that. I think I have the guitar still though. Maybe. Somewhere. I don't know.
Somewhere,
yeah,
I feel that.
That's my little story to kick us off for Hispanic Heritage Month. My one experience visiting my ancestors' hometown. Because all of my family is from Chihuahua. That's like the closest I can like go back. Because I'm like 4th generation Mexican on one side. And then I'm like pretty close. Like I'm like 3rd or 2nd generation on the other side. But I don't know them, so I can't I don't know where they're from. But one side is from Chihuahua. Which I think is, when I found out the Chihuahua was a place and not just a dog, I was so hype. I freaking love Chihuahuas.
That's so cute.
I love Chihuahuas, especially because, when we were kids, the Taco Bell ad, Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Okay, that was good. Oh, by the way, Taco Bell's doing a Y2K thing right now.
What?
I was like, I feel old as fuck. Yeah,
That's so random.
But where's the little Taco Bell Chihuahua? It's not there.
I know.
The little mascot for the Y2K. So there's a mascot for the Y2K, but it's a taco.
No,
it's a taco.
We need the Chihuahua.
I know.
I had the stuffed animal that when you squeezed it, it said the catchphrase, and I loved it. I loved it so much.
Same. I loved that little doggo. It was so cute.
I'm pretty sure mine had a Christmas hat. I don't remember though, like a Santa Claus hat. I feel like I had the one with the hat on. I don't know.
Huh.
Like I can't remember because I don't still have it. If I do, it's in a box somewhere. Let's see. Taco Bell Christmas dog?
God.
Yeah, I had the Christmas one. It's kind of evil looking, if I'm being completely honest. Here, let me throw it up on the pod. Yeah, let me throw it up here. Okay, episode. This is the one I had. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Ah!
He's a little cursed.
Oh my god, I love it though. That's amazing.
They had a birthday hat one. I didn't have that one. I just had the Christmas one. I don't remember
mine having a hat on it.
They didn't all have hats. There was one that didn't have a hat. There was one that had a t-shirt. There was one that had the Christmas hat and then apparently a birthday hat, which I never knew.
Okay.
Oh, there was one with a rose too. I wonder if that's for Valentine's Day. Like it was biting a rose.
Aww.
There's a ton of them. What the heck? I didn't realize how many dogs there were. There's one with an apron, like a bib, a Taco Bell bib. There's one with a wanted sign. It's wanted chalupa. There's one with a free tacos sign. Very cute.
Oh god. Oh god.
But yeah, I had the one with the Santa hat. I must have got him for Christmas. That must have been why. Yeah, that is my our little Taco Bell tangent right at the start. All right. Well, I think we should just jump in. Since we're both already tired, we should definitely not diddle-daddle too long because we're going to be yawning up a storm. So,
yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Hola, frikis! Bienvenido to this week's episode of Series of Geektastic Events.
The podcast where we dive into anything and everything geeky. I'm your host, Lila Onikuma.
And I'm your other host, Sero the librarian. Today, our topic is Hispanic Heritage Month.
And don't forget about the Hispanic icons we'll be learning about.
That's right, Lila. We have a lot to cover, so grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's jump in to the episode.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Woo!
All right, guys.
Wait.
We have a brief little thing here before we jump into the icons. We're going to talk about how the Hispanic Heritage Month came to be, and then Lila's going to talk a bit about the theme for this year. Because
I don't think we've never talked about this topic before, have we?
Nope. This is the first time we've done this month.
This will be fun.
Yeah. And just so anyone listening on YouTube or anyone listening currently knows, most of, if not all, like heritage months, so Black Heritage Month, Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Asian American Heritage Month, all of those, they're going to have a theme each year. And it could be anything from like focusing on the arts, focusing on historical figures, focusing on current community leaders, like it could be anything. So it's kind of fun to like dive into what each theme is each year. And I think going forward, if we ever do the Heritage Month of whichever ones we've already done again, it'll be interesting to maybe choose specific people that align with the theme each time we do it.
Yeah,
we got a lot to talk about. So let me talk about the origin story. So Hispanic Heritage Month each year is celebrated from September 15th to October 15th. And like most of, if not all, the heritage months, they started as weeks. I don't know why it all starts with weeks and then they're like, hey, we need more time, guys. Should have just gave them a month.
Yeah.
Like at the start. Like, weeks not long enough, man. So it began as a week-long celebration in 1968, which is when my dad was born. California Congressman George E. Brown is the one who introduced the idea to the House of Representatives. And some fun facts about this guy, which I just like randomly dive deep into the guy that introduced this because I was like, let's see what kind of guy this is. Pretty cool guy. So he was a part of the very first interracial housing arrangement in UCLA. So he was one of the only, like white students that was like, hey, I'm okay to room with anyone. So he was in the interracial housing. And he also organized protests in LA against the Japanese Americans being held in internment camps after Pearl Harbor, which is a big part of both of my people, and I think at least one of Lila's. So we'll get into that. He also spent the night at the home of the first Black family to move to Monterey Park because being the first Black family, they faced a lot of racial protests and tension, and so he spent the night over there to protect them. So, really cool guy. Just random facts about him. But anyways, he pushes for this Hispanic Heritage Week to recognize and honor the Hispanic population, specifically within his community, because his district had a lot of Hispanic people living in it, and he wanted to do something to honor that. So about 3 months later, after he introduced it into the House of Representatives, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed it into, project whatever, and made it official. So 1968, it started the week-long one. And then it took 20 years for Congress to make it into a month-long celebration. So we have two different tries. So the first try was in 1988. It was a California representative, Esteban Torres. He put forth the bill to expand the week-long celebration to a month. For whatever reason, his bill died in committee. But fortunately, Senator of Illinois, Paul Simon, put his own little bill in there. Same deal, make it a month. Not sure if there was that many differences, but for whatever reason, his goes through. So his goes through, and President Ronald Reagan signs in the Hispanic Heritage Month as a recognized national holiday thing. Or it's not a holiday, it's like a national celebration. I don't whatever whatever it's called. Now it's a legal thing.
Woo!
And you might be wondering, why is it in the middle of September and end in the middle of October? Well, unknowingly to me, there is a reason. So, many Central American countries celebrate their Independence Day within this period, starting September 15th. So, September 15th, 1821, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua all gained independence from Spain. And then the Mexican War of Independence began September 16th of 1810. So that's another date in there. And then September 18th, Chile gained independence from Spain. And then, like I said earlier, Belize gained independence from Great Britain, and that was September 21st, 1981. So a lot of Central American and I think one South American country all had been like declared independent countries during that like third and fourth week of September. So they decided to start it there and then end it. Yeah, 1981 was when Belize gained independence from Great Britain, which is why I was so floored. I was like, why did I not know this was a thing? It's like that was not that long ago.
It really wasn't.
Yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
not that long ago. But yeah, so that is how it became a month and why it is celebrated middle of September to middle of October. So that's my little rundown.
That's interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, I knew it was in the middle of September. I knew it was like, I knew that it was that, but I guess I just never questioned it being that. I was just like, oh, it just starts in the middle of the month. I just didn't even think about it, to be honest. But obviously it has a reason, so. But yes, that is the origins. And now we have today. This this year's 2025 Hispanic Heritage Month. Lila will let you guys know all about it.
Whoosh. So, like, oh god, I'm so sorry. Okay, so, like Sero mentioned earlier, there's usually themes, a different theme every year, and this year's theme is collective heritage, honoring the past and inspiring the future. This theme was chosen by the National Council of Hispanic Employment Program Managers to acknowledge the rich history, culture, and lasting contributions of Hispanic and Latino communities in the United States. This month is an opportunity to recognize and learn about the history, journeys, and achievements of the Hispanic and Latin American communities while spotlighting the unique voices and experiences of those who continue to pioneer change and shape the future. According to the Pew Research Center, the U.S. Hispanic Latino population reached 63.3 million in 2022 in, like, the United States, I should say, specifically the United States. Which was up from the 50.5 million in 2010. In 2022, Hispanics in I did not okay. In 2022, Hispanics and Latinos made up nearly 1 in 5 people in the United States, 19%, up from 16% in 2010 and just 5% in 1970. That is crazy. 5% in 1970.
Oh, they're using the gender neutral. That's why it's that. The E.
Okay.
Yeah.
I took it straight from their. I've never
Yeah.
seen it like that before. I'm not
Well,
gonna lie.
Americans use Latinx, but most Hispanics don't don't. They use the E, so
Okay.
yeah.
I took that straight from the website.
Yeah.
So, but the theme reminds us that the legacy of those who came before us, their struggles, achievements, cultures, and values lays a foundation for what we build together today and tomorrow. That was beautiful.
It doesn't really make sense with like the way that Spanish is to have it be Latinx. So most people that I know that and like what am I trying to say? Like educators educators in that kind of field use Latin, not Latinx. But it's interchangeable really. Kind of just depends on where you're seeing it from.
Good to know.
Yeah. Just a
Good to
little
know.
language lesson with Sero today.
Well, I found a cute little thing on 8 ways to celebrate. This was a really cute article, okay? It was from the Boys and Girls Club. It's a cute article. I was like, "Oh, this is cute. I have to share this." Okay. So, 8 ideas for celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and like it was the Boys and Girls Club, so it does say with kids. But obviously, you can do some of this stuff without kids, okay? So, number 1. I'm gonna read it how they have it titled because it's so cute. Number 1, dish up some delicious flavors.
Yum.
So basically, like what it sounds, cooking or going out to eat to, that local restaurant, or looking up how to like experiment, try to make a dish, It says a variety of Hispanic and Latino foods are available in the United States with our border with Mexico. Mexican food is often a kid favorite from an early age. Before cooking or going out to eat, discussing the ingredients and spices that makes these dishes special. Taste and smell cumin and paprika.
Paprika, let's go. One of my favorite spices.
Huh.
Smoked paprika is really good.
Smoked paprika is good.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is cute. Okay. So, while you're exploring recipes, bring some new cultures to the table. Woo! Argentina introduced the world to chimichurri sauce. I did not know that was okay. That's interesting. I did not know that. And then you'll likely have the ingredients on hand for a kid-friendly.
Migas!
Yeah, there we go.
Migas are my favorite! My dad would make me them when I was a kid.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's so good. You probably had it, dude.
Probably.
It was just eggs with ripped up tortillas, like fried and stuff. Here, I'll find a picture while you're talking.
Oh, okay. I think I have then. It's popular in Spain, Portugal, Mexico, and Texas.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, it says combine scrambled eggs, tortilla chips, melty cheese, pico, de gallo. Okay. With origins in both Colombia and Venezuela. Oh God, Sero, how do you pronounce this?
Okay.
It's right under
Arepas.
Migas. Yeah, that's popular in Colombia and Venezuela. It's the ultimate sandwich fried corn cake stuffed with chicken, avocado, and more. To earn extra kid points,
Yeah.
watch Encanto before making the cheese-filled,
Arepas.
how do you say it? Yeah.
Yeah, the
I've not
mom.
seen Encanto yet.
It's
I need to
so
watch it.
freaking good. It's so good. And the mom
That
makes
sounds good.
arepas that like heal you.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you eat her
That sounds really
arepas
good.
and they heal you. They're good.
Ooh.
I've never had
Dude,
one,
that looks so good on the
because it's
screen.
not something that I've like my family has ever made, but they sound good.
Yeah. Number 2, take a local or virtual tour.
Ooh,
I love that
interesting.
virtual tours are a thing now.
I know. Some of them are really cool. Also, these are migas, guys, for anyone that's wondering. This isn't really how I make them, but it's like a version of them. I had them in
Yeah.
Texas actually when I went there.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
because it was
Ooh.
on a menu at a breakfast place that I went to when I went and visited my boyfriend, and I was like, they have migas.
Dude.
Yeah.
I just read ahead in the article.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So, you know how I was saying that, like, I love that virtual tours are a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can tour La Casa Azul, Frida Kahlo's former home, virtually.
That's
Because
cool.
it's a. Yeah. Ah! Okay. So,
Love her.
obviously, take the
Whoa!
tour.
I'm in it. What the heck? I
Did it
pressed the
take you straight
link.
there?
Yes. Whoa.
Oh my god, that's so cool! Ah!
Whoa.
Oh my god, I'm in it! Oh,
This is
dude,
so cool.
that
This is
is
like a
so
Google Earth.
cool!
You're like fully here. Sorry,
Oh
guys. You
my
can't see
god,
it.
that's beautiful!
Here, I'll put the
No,
link.
but we can, like,
I'll put the link.
yeah,
Because it's not really a thing that I think the stream will do justice.
handle very well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it won't. Dude, it's beautiful.
It's so cool. Her
That is so
art!
cool.
The skeleton!
Yeah, so Frida Kahlo, famous female painter. And
Mexican.
this was her, yes, Mexican painter. This was her former home and has been turned into a museum with a
Wow.
bunch of her art.
Whoa! You can.
It's
That's
so
my. What the
cool!
heck? Guys, this is
Dude, you're
everything.
probably like on
Frida
totally
Kahlo is
different.
my second favorite artist ever.
She's so cool. I love her. This looks. Oh my god, can you imagine like living here? This is
Yeah, I know.
insane.
Anyways.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you know, virtual tour.
Which you should check
And then
out.
also yes. And then also like obviously your like local museums or if you're around the DC area, the Smithsonian Museum of the American Latino is also something that you can visit. You know, I didn't when I was in DC,
Mhm.
we had to pick and choose which
Yeah.
Smithsonians to visit because we didn't have time to go see all of them.
Yeah.
So
That's like
this
a
was
full trip is
not
just the Smithsonian.
yeah, it's crazy. They're huge and there's so many of them. But yeah, this was not one of the uh museums that we visited, unfortunately. But
Next time.
it looks yeah, next time. It does look like from the Smithsonian's that like we did visit, they're like crazy cool. They're phenomenal. So I can only imagine like what this one looks like. So, but yeah, can always, you know, learn more about the heritage, music, art, anything like that. Um Number 3, learn about Hispanic and Latino celebrations and traditions. Okay, that was a mouthful. Celebrations create connections and fun everyone can enjoy. So take some time to explore the traditions around the world. Each country has its own unique and colorful way to celebrate. For instance, festive traditions like piñatas, Dia de los Muertos, and oh god, I'm gonna fuck up that end sound. Quinceañeras.
Oh, quinceañeras.
Yeah, all originate from Mexico. Boys and Girls Club of Los Angeles Harbor is well known for their Dia de los
Ooh,
Muertos block party. Ooh.
that's fun.
So, whether you're attending a cultural celebration or watching one on TV, talk about it. You know, friends, family. Like learn about the culture. It's fun. Learning's fun, guys.
It is fun. That's why you're here. That's literally
Yeah.
why you're here.
Yeah. And to hear us ramble.
True.
Number 4. Give your game night a Hispanic Heritage Month twist. I thought okay.
The food one is still the best one.
It is. So, yeah, games. I'm sure there's like different games in other countries that would be cool to learn and play.
Oh yeah, I feel like we could do like an episode on like games from around the world. I feel like that would be fun.
Really fun.
Yeah, I'll put it in the
That
ideas.
would be really
I'm putting
fun.
in ideas now before I forget.
Loteria?
Loteria.
Okay, yeah. Is
It's
Mexico's version of bingo.
Yeah. I've never played it.
Match words, call out. Okay. When they've got a row, the winner shouts Buena to end the game. Oh, the Smithsonian again. The Smithsonian also has a collection of games and activities for purchase.
Ooh. That's fun.
From English is hard. Their Nuestra America series. You can play different bilingual memory card games or puzzles. Learn about famous Hispanic Americans in the process. Nuestra America. Huh, that's cute. Puzzles, all sorts of things. That's adorable. Yeah. Okay. Number 5, explore heritage through art.
Real.
So, Frida Kahlo!
Woo! Salvador
Pablo
Dali!
Picasso.
My first favorite!
Woo!
My first favorite artist.
There's so many, like... I feel like I know more Hispanic artists than I do non-Hispanic artists, and that's probably because of Spanish class.
Yeah, because we always had to do a report on someone that, like, usually it was a Spanish artist. Yeah, it was huge.
Art was huge as a topic in Spanish class. So there are some, like, really cool artists out there. Beautiful work, interesting work. Definitely something to explore, especially if you're an art fan, I'll say. And if you're not an art fan, we got books! Woo! Read books. Support Hispanic authors. Woo! There's plenty of books to explore by so many different authors. I'm actually talking about one today. Woo! So, yeah. Definitely. Have you really read anything?
Have you really read anything?
Okay, that's not what I meant. I meant, like...
I've read a lot of kids' books. Like, when I worked at my last job, the bookstore, because I was like in charge of the kids department, I read a lot of kids Hispanic Heritage books, and I set up the Hispanic Heritage Month displays each year. So I know a lot of kids books.
Okay.
Esperanza Rising is really good. So is there's one called Dreamer, I think. It's either called Dreamer or
Oh, that sounds
Dreamers. There's also one where like you're making tortillas with your grandma, but I don't remember what it's called. And then Carmela, that one's really good. There's a lot of kids ones that I know, but I don't know a lot of like adult novels. So
Yeah.
couldn't tell you.
Okay.
About those ones.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, since this article is Boys and Girls Club, it obviously has like kids books listed. But there's definitely plenty of books like that aren't directed towards kids, obviously.
Yeah,
as
plenty.
Well. Yes. And then of course number 7's movie night.
Woo! Selena! You gotta watch Selena.
Yes,
watch
that
Selena,
is
guys.
So good. Oh my god. And like not just like, you know, regular movies, but like musicals and stuff too. Like there's plenty of those. Blech, those. Oh my god, Coco. Coco was so fucking good.
Yeah, Coco, Encanto,
Okay, now list off real people, like non-animated movies. Go.
I gotta think. The one with
this article.
Spy Kids.
This article.
Spy Kids is such a Hispanic movie, guys. Watch Spy Kids. All 3 of them.
Is it?
Yeah, they're Hispanic family. All of them are.
Okay, I guess so.
Hispanic.
Yeah. It's
a Hispanic family of spies, bro.
That's going for. This article has set to the musical stylings of Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. He just does everything now. I can't. He writes everything.
On Netflix. I guess it celebrates the culture of Cuba.
Never heard of it, if I'm being honest.
Seeks to deliver a message on behalf of its owner.
I've never heard of Evo.
No, that's the first I've heard of it too.
I've never seen this. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. Huh.
It came out in 2021.
Kid-friendly ones. Oh, damn.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, we're behind the times. It's fine.
Yeah. Holy cow. Oh, there's a lot of really cute animated ones on here. Netflix has a lot. Jesus. Oh, this one. Is it animated?
Chupa. Chupa's cute.
Okay.
Coco, Encanto. McFarland is really good. You guys should all watch McFarland USA. That one's also really good. I've never seen that. Really good.
Okay, we are getting movie recommendations from Sero, guys.
Yeah, it's a sports movie about a cross-country team. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah.
Ooh. Interesting. That did pique my interest. Okay.
I'm going through here and seeing if I see anything else.
Okay. Number 8, my favorite, Hit the Dance Floor. I love this. I would love to learn. So basically this one is just like encouraging people to like go out and like do dance classes or like learn different styles of dance. Looks like there's a video here for the basic steps of salsa dancing.
Wow.
Ew. Actually, that looks really cute. I've always wanted to learn. There are so many dances I would love to learn.
Yeah.
And then we also have the Spanglish taught. What is this saying? What?
The Spanglish taught cumbia moves.
Yeah.
Spanglish is like Spanish English, so it's both.
Yeah.
But what is?
Oh, okay. So it's saying the video has both Spanish and English.
Okay.
The video,
Oh my
I think,
gosh,
has
this
both
guy,
Spanish and English like, translation.
the guy that's dancing with her, he's got a cowboy hat and a mustache, and cowboy boots.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, and that big old belt.
Okay. You don't have to go out to an actual class. You can just use YouTube, guys.
Yeah.
But it would be so fun to like go out. Like that would be so fun.
You know what's fun?
I don't think there's
my college in like the downtown area, like every once in a while, I don't even know if it had like a particular day. It had to because there were so many people. A bunch of people like that were Hispanic around the community would come and they'd get a band and a speaker and they'd play a bunch of different like Latin music and it would just be a big like horde of people dancing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was so fun. It was very fun. And there was like older women there that were teaching the young college kids, like the young college men how to dance. It was very fun.
That.
Yeah. Find one of those guys.
Also, dude, I'm still on the Frida Kahlo museum.
I know,
and,
it's so
oh my
cool.
god, you could look up at the ceiling too. It's like a full 3D like
That's so cool.
experience. Like at the ground, at the ceiling. I'm upside down right now. I need to get off of this. This is like so cool. We've talked about her in a past episode, right? Haven't we? For something?
Frida Kahlo? Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like I've talked. I don't remember why we
did. We talk about her for like
women's history? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Yeah,
I love me some Frida Kahlo.
That makes sense.
I'm a fan.
Okay, I just exited out of the thing because I was like, I'm gonna get too distracted.
Yeah, I had to exit too. I was like, I'll look at it later. Otherwise, I'm gonna be all up in there too long.
Yeah. That's so true. So yeah, that's just... I gotta scroll back up on my dock here. Those are just a few ways you can celebrate. Obviously, educating yourself is one of the biggest things you can do to appropriately celebrate. You know, kind of stay away from certain stereotypes and appropriately celebrate this wonderful month. There we go. There we go. But yeah. Yeah, no, when we cover things like this and the themes always get me because it's not something I would necessarily think of as a theme.
Yeah, I know. This one is particularly weird. I wasn't completely sure what it meant, but you explained it, so I don't even have to think about it.
Oh,
yeah. Why not Lila what? Why does she not think about the themes?
Or why not celebrate through stereotypes? Why not what? Oh, the themes? The themes are just always... The themes are just always, They require my brain to work and think.
Yeah. They're not always straightforward either.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was
So you kind of have to like figure out what it means, because it just sometimes it'll just say this is the theme, and then you're like, all right, but what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
But it's fine. It's fine. All right, guys. We're going to yap while this ad starts in 44 seconds. And then when the ad ends, I will begin my my ramble on my first icon. But to run down, I'm going to be talking about Guy Gabaldon and Dolores Huerta. And Lila is going to be talking about
Sylvia Mendez.
Sylvia Mendez. And
sorry,
Julia de Burgos.
Of my talk.
It's alright, it's alright.
I was all the way at the bottom of my talk.
Dolores Huerta. Icon for sure. Guy I did not know about. Guy Gabaldon.
Yeah, this is gonna be new for me too.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Ow! What did I just do? Just like I leaned over and something in my back like spasmed. Hate that. Anyways. I'll just start. It's fine. Alright, so
yeah.
Let me put the pictures up. Also, Lila, send me pictures if you want pictures for later.
Okay.
Ish. Send them in the the server.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this fine sir behind me is Guy Gabaldon. I'm just going to call him Guy because he's a guy. So, this guy named Guy was born in Los Angeles, California, March 22nd, 1926. So, a long time ago. He was the third oldest of 7 children. And with that many mouths to feed, everyone in the family had to pitch in. So, when he was 10 years old, Guy would shine shoes and run errands for money on Skid Row, which is not a great area in LA. And then at 12, he joined the Mo Gang, which was a multi-ethnic gang. Though I will say it was kind of known for just being mischievous rather than being like a criminal organization. So not the worst gang, I guess, to join if you're going to join one. And then around that same time, he met his good friend, Lane Nakano, who actually became a actor later in life. Has his own wiki page and everything. And he eventually moves in with his family, with the Nakano family, and they become his extended family. It's his foster family up until he becomes an adult, or quote unquote adult, because he joins the military before he's actually an adult. So we'll get into it. So he's 12, moves in with the Nakano family. They are a Japanese American family. And he starts attending language school every day with the children and learns to speak Japanese. He also learned about their customs and culture, and he really immerses himself in this family. They become family, like real family to him. And of course, World War II begins, and the Nakanos were forcefully sent to a relocation camp named Heart Mountain Relocation Center in Wyoming because of Pearl Harbor and Executive Order 9066, I think is what it was, which forcefully removed Japanese Americans from their homes, businesses, and put them into camps, relocation centers, as they called them. So he got his new, he still had his family, but he had, his family that he was living with now got shipped off to Wyoming. He's just a kid. So he travels all the way to Alaska to find work at a fish cannery. And then when he turns 17, he goes to San Diego and joins the United States Marine Corps and starts boot camp training and everything. So he's still a kid, only 17, out on his own, joins the Marines, and in July 1943, he completed the Enlisted Marine Japanese Language School at Camp Elliott in San Diego. So, because of his prior experience with Japanese customs and culture, and because of his dedication to learning like the Japanese language, while he was doing his like education as a Marine, he was assigned to Headquarters and Service Company, 2nd Marine Regiment, 2nd Marine Division, as a scout and observer. And this becomes important in a moment. So before we get into that, though, we need to talk about the island Saipan, or Saipan. I can't remember how you say it. I think it's Saipan. But it's one of the largest, or it is the largest island of the Northern Mariana Islands chain, and it is particularly important during World War II. So it contains a really large airfield that the Japanese were using to stage bomber raids against American targets, and it was also like the perfect spot for Americans to bomb and strike Tokyo. So they were fighting for this island for a long time, like, and they weren't giving up either side. So July 15th, they ship out 1944, I should say. July 15th, 1944. They ship out 2nd and 4th Marine Divisions. So 2nd Division, that would be Guy. And they begin the invasion of Saipan. So 32,000 Japanese soldiers are on this island defending it, but there's also a lot of civilians. And those civilians were told by the upper authorities that there was basically no surrender. They were told that Americans would torture them and essay them if they were captured, and the soldiers were told that if they surrendered, they were like going against their country and their emperor, and the only way that they could honor their commanders was basically to unalive themselves. So, yeah, all the Japanese soldiers and civilians in this isolated place, like, they wanted them to be fighting for their lives, like, no compromise, like, no way for them to get information out of anybody. They really were trying to keep it as, this is the famous cliff. They do have the famous cliff here as well. So Guy doesn't really like these plans for the Japanese soldiers, so he has a different strat. He gets there first night, and he wanders out on his own, leaves his post, which obviously is not what you're supposed to do, and he goes out and finds 2 Japanese soldiers. And using his skills in conversational Japanese that he learned in both during his time with the Marines initially in training camp, and also with his experience with the Nakano family, he's able to persuade these 2 Japanese soldiers to surrender and come back as his prisoner. So he takes him back to the camp, and he gets in trouble. They're like, you are not supposed to leave your post. This is, like, not okay. Like, they threatened him with a court-martial and everything, and they were not amused at all. But Guy didn't really care much. So he basically just did it anyways. Like, he let them, like, threaten him, and then the next night he went out again. And this time, he went searching and found a cave. So a lot of the times when he went out and searched for these Japanese soldiers, he would dispatch the guards if he needed to, but he would also use smoke bombs to do it without having to hurt anyone, because that was like a big part of his whole thing, is he wanted to save as many of the Japanese soldiers and civilians' lives as he could. And so he yelled in there in the cave after he got the guards handled. You're surrounded and have no choice but to surrender. Come out and you will not be killed. I assure you you will be well treated. We do not want to kill you. So that's just like some of what he said, but eventually he got all of the people in that cave to surrender to him. And he returned the next morning with 50 prisoners. Oh, he's at 52 right now, so far. And this kind of proved to the commanding officer that he was more of an asset as a lone wolf rather than it being too much of a against the rule kind of thing. So he permits his lone wolf operations. And a few weeks later, July 8th, that's when the big one comes. So July 7th, World War II's largest Japanese unaliving attack. try not to use the words we're not supposed to use on YouTube. But yeah, there is a huge Japanese bonsai unaliving attack that comes crashing down on the U.S. forces. Basically, it's like mass like infantry's charging like human waves. Basically, they're like supposed to overwhelm the enemy forces, and it's not really like a very strategic move in terms of like loss of life. There's just a lot of people die in that type of strategy. So basically, overall, I think it was 5,000 Americans and 23,000 Japanese troops were killed in this attack. And it was like over 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks of hand-to-hand combat, like bloody. It was called the Battle of Saipan. I can't remember how to say it, guys. And it all ended, I think, let me check what the number was. It was like 4,000 or something. Yeah, it was 4,000 plus Japanese soldiers in a final unaliving charge died at the very end. And then the rest of the people retreated and hid in the island's jungles and caves. So that huge attack happens July 7th, the very last of it, the 4,000. And the next morning, lo and behold, the U.S. Marines see a crowd of these Japanese survivors on a seaside cliffside. And there's one Marine there, and you've guessed it, the Marine is Guy. So Guy is standing among hundreds of Japanese soldiers and civilians, some of whom are armed, and he's walking them with the little white flag, on a stick. I think it was someone's underwear on a stick that was white, waving around, signaling that they surrendered. So during the night, he had, I think what he first did was he got 2 of the guards to listen to him and go back and get more. And then there was a commanding officer that came out. And throughout the night, he just kept talking to them all and giving, telling them, we'll give you food, medical care for the wounded. We won't treat you badly. We'll treat you like human beings. But he also pointed out that they had, warships coming, and that were just off the coast. So he used a combination of, hey, we're not monsters. We're not going to do anything to you if you surrender, but if you don't surrender, we're going to have to do what we have to do. And eventually he is able to persuade all of these Japanese soldiers and civilians to surrender to him. And I think it was, let me see, how many? 807? I think it was 807. Where is it? I'm lost in my document, guys.
That is such a mood. That happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it was 807. So 800. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm throwing things at the at the keyboard. My underwear would not be white after weeks of combat. It's crazy, Akumo.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And this is what he writes a book later in life, and this is a quote from his book. He says, "My God, it's over. I did it. When the last soldiers, civilians, and the wounded arrived that night where they were to be detained, I grabbed a K ration, devoured it, laid down on a blanket, and passed out. Man, did I ever sleep what was left of that night." So that was the big one. He did go on to, what was it called? I don't write everything down, and then I'm like, I'm gonna remember, but I never do.
Dude, I also feel that on such a level.
What is the other place? Oh, Tinian? Yeah, I think it's Tinian. It's another island of the Northern Mariana Islands. He goes there as well to help fight Japanese soldiers and whatnot. So he doesn't stop at Saipan. He goes to Tinian as well. But by the end of the campaign, Guy was credited with capturing over 1,500 Japanese soldiers and civilians, the most captures in U.S. military history. And when he went to Tinian, while he was there, he was wounded late into the campaign by machine gun fire, which did get him honorably discharged. But his commanding officer, Captain John Schwab, recommended him for the Medal of Honor due to just how many people he was able to get to surrender. 10 times the average person is what he said. And for whatever reason, even though he captured and got more people to surrender than the person in World War I that got the Medal of Honor, he did not. They gave him the Silver Star Medal, which is actually the third highest military decoration. And then he got honorably discharged, and he was living civilian life. But obviously, this is a big story. He captured, quote unquote. I mean, he was kind of saving people because without surrendering, they would have died. But it's also like the war. So I don't know if we can really say he saved people. But he did.
Yeah.
He did help in the way that he could, because thousands upon thousands of people on that island died, and he did say, "I'm glad that I could have saved at least 1,000." So his intention was to save them and not so much to capture them. But you're still a prisoner of war if you're captured. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyways, he gets the Silver Star Medal, and he goes to civilian life. Lots of people are hearing about this story, and there is a popular interview show called This Is Your Life, and his story is like on it in 1957, and then 3 years later, they are like, hey, we want to make this into a movie. So Hollywood gets on this. They make his whole story into a movie called Hell to Eternity, which I've never seen, and I would love to see, because the way that this one person that I was like taking information from for what I was going to talk about today, he described it as hilarious because they casted a 6-foot-tall, blue-eyed Jeffrey Hunter to play a 5'4" Mexican American from East LA. So very different vibes.
Damn.
Yeah, the actor that plays him is not at all him. Like, doesn't look like him at all. He is short. This man is short in the most loving way I can say it. He is a short guy, and he is not. He's the same height as me. So, I am the same height as this man right here.
Damn.
Yeah. So it gets made into a movie 3 years later. And he also, during this year, gets his medal upgraded to the Navy Cross, which is the second highest honor for Navy and Marine Corps. So he's getting up to the Medal of Honor. The Secretary of the Navy cited his extreme courage and initiative in entering enemy caves, buildings, and pillbox guard posts amidst hostile fire to capture well over 1,000 troops and civilians. His exploits contributed to America's success, and a definite humane treatment of civilian prisoners was assured. So he does honor him for how humane of a treatment he instilled in his division, which again, great. Still, a little iffy because it's like war and whatnot, and that's just how it is. But humane treatment is always a good step. So, but yeah, so he gets upgraded to the second highest honor, but this isn't enough. A lot of Latin American leaders, members of Congress, organizations, other veterans, they want him to receive the Medal of Honor. So they start campaigning for years for him to receive this. And I'll get into the end of life section here in a second, but he does not get this Medal of Honor yet upon his death. He died in August of 2006. I think some people are still campaigning for it because they can award medals after death. But up until his death, he still had not received the Medal of Honor. He did get the Navy Cross, though, which is still a really big deal, so. But yes. So, just to wrap up a little bit, post-war, he spent some time in Mexico. He was trying out a bunch of different businesses. He had a furniture business, a fishing business. He started importing and exporting Mexican goods. He found a wife, and then they divorced, and then he found another wife. And the second wife was a stronger marriage, Ohana Suzuki. So, sticking with the Japanese theme, this guy was very immersed in Japanese culture as a child, so I'm not surprised that his second wife was also Japanese. Yeah. And of course, his extended family is all Japanese, and he's still close with all of them, so not surprising. And there's a lot of Japanese, Korean, I don't know about Chinese, but there's a lot of Asians in Mexico, particularly in, I can't remember the city, but there's like a whole like Chinatown there. And, which again, I never realized as a kid. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of like different groups that have migrated over there. Yeah. I think partially due to like railroad tracks and stuff. Like during the railroad bonanza that went on back in the 18 whatever into the 1900s. A lot of migration because a lot of Asian immigrants came over to help build the railroads along with, many other minority groups. But yes, so he marries Ohana, which love, and all of their children's names, love the names. I'll tell you in a minute. So he marries her, tries running for Congress in California, not successful though. Then he moves to Saipan. With his wife, and they start up a seafood business, and they live there for 20 years. He also helps run a youth camp as well there during this time. So for 20 years, he lives in Saipan with his wife, has a bunch of kids. he also, this is where he writes his self-published book called Saipan Suicide Island. I'm just gonna say that's the name of the book, YouTube. Do not flag me. That is the name of the book, guys.
I think we're gonna get flagged anyway.
It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, he writes this book, which I would love to read it. It sounds really interesting. I think it also got it got republished as a different book. What is it called? Let me find it. Where are you? Yeah, America Betrayed. It was reprinted as America Betrayed. So I definitely want to read it. Because interesting title, right? Interesting title.
Yeah.
So, 20 years in Saipan, and then they move around a bit before settling down in Florida, where he does live out the rest of his days. So, in 2004, 2 years before he dies, he was honored at the Pentagon in a ceremony which recognized the contributions of Hispanic American World War II veterans. And then on August 31st, 2006, he died in Florida of heart disease and was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery. He's survived by his wife, Ohana, his sons, Guy Jr., Ray, Tony, Yoshio, Jeffrey, and Russell, and his daughters, Aiko, Hanako, and Manya. He has a lot of kids, y'all. He has a lot of kids.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And interesting enough, his adopted or foster brother, if you will, of his extended family, the actor Guy, he died a year before Guy. So, yeah. So that's the end of him and his family and how it ended for him. I do wonder if he'll ever get the Medal of Honor, because I don't know if you can get it after death. I'm assuming you could.
I don't know.
Can you get Medal of Honor after death? I'm assuming you'd have to, because, like, what if someone dies, but they did something really awesome? Yeah, can be awarded after death. Yeah, so.
Oh, bye, Akamo. I don't know how long ago that was sent.
Bye, Akamo. Good night. I know, too late. You gotta go to bed. But yeah,
Mood.
So this is one of the people that, this is the person that I didn't know anything about and, like, learned about as I was researching. Crazy life. Went from shining shoes and, like, running errands, joining a gang, to becoming one of the most, like, insane World War II, like, stories I've heard.
That's crazy.
Yeah, saved a lot of American lives, as well as the Japanese soldiers that he got to surrender, and civilians, because a big part of that is, you know, civilians didn't have any option to, like, both fight and or, like, surrender because they were told that they weren't supposed to do so. So all of the people that he did get to surrender were going directly against, like, the indoctrination that they'd gone under by their government and their leadership. And for him to be able to get them to do that and save not only their lives, but all of the lives of the American soldiers that could have died fighting them, pretty impressive. I definitely think that,
yeah, that's amazing.
His foster family had a huge impact on that. Because, I mean, I guess it's just a human thing to have empathy for other people, but I do know that, like, during that time, as we saw with the, you know, camps that were made for Japanese Americans, there was a lot of racism towards Japanese and just Asian people in general. So it's kind of fate that he was so integrated within a Japanese family to have such care and empathy for just Japanese people, but also the culture and customs and, like, know all of that stuff before going over there and fighting a war against Japanese soldiers. I think that was a big part of why he was able to connect with so many people and get them to surrender. Because not anyone could just, you know, do that. kind of have to have both the charisma. No, sorry, I can't. I was about to quote RuPaul, and it's just not the time.
God.
It's just not the time.
Wow.
But yeah, no, definitely a really cool story. Not something I'd ever heard about. I don't necessarily think this one is one that everyone in history class should know about, but I do think it's one that if you're interested in World War II or Hispanic heritage, it's a cool and interesting story to learn about. I will say that my next one, I think we should have learned about a little bit at least, but you know.
Yeah, my first one, I think we should have learned about.
But you
a little
know,
bit.
it's too late now, but yeah. That is Guy for you guys. He was 17
Love
when he
that.
joined the Marines. I can't imagine being 17 and going to
Holy
war.
shit.
Like,
Mm-mm.
and he was handsome.
Not at all.
He was a handsome young man over here.
Okay, I'm sending you the last of my pictures. For
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
The first one has a lot of pictures, my bad.
I see that. I see that, bud. Okay. Mendez.
The second one doesn't.
Fine.
Well, keeping with World War II.
Yeah, we'll be going there several times today.
Keeping with World War II. Let me set the scene for ya. Even more so than what you just did. Okay. So just 80 years ago. That's weird to say. It's 1945. World War II. Segregation's high. There's still Japanese internment camps, like Sero talked about, in California. And then legal segregation existed for Asian Americans and Native Americans. Again, legal segregation 80 years ago.
Yeah.
For Asian Americans and Native Americans. And de facto segregation against Mexican Americans and African Americans. Now, manifesting in separate schools with inferior facilities and fewer resources, alongside discriminatory practices in restaurants and swimming pools, was major during this time. During these times, 80% of the students of Mexican heritage in California went to separate schools.
Mm-hmm.
These schools were run down, often using books or furniture that the white schools had discarded. More stark was the difference in the curriculum. So instead of focusing on academic subjects, Mexican schools taught English, whether they needed to actually teach it or not. And they taught work skills. So that sets the stage for Mendez versus Westminster. Now, Sylvia Mendez was born June 7th, 1936. She is currently 89 years old. Think about that for a second. Really, crazy how this happened not that long ago.
Yeah.
So, this is where our story starts. The story of separate is not equal. Now, the 14th Amendment, Equal Protection Clause. The 14th Amendment, Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction therefore of are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. And little history lesson here, the 14th Amendment was declared in a sorry guys, I need a drink of water already.
It's all right.
On July 28th, 1868, the 14th Amendment was declared in a certificate of the Secretary of State, ratified by the necessary 28 of the 37 states, and became a part of the supreme law of the land. So that happened 1868. For the first 60 years of the United States history, what is now the state of California was a part of Mexico. Mexico ceded the land to the United States after the Mexican-American War in 1848, and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo? Oh no. Yeah, that treaty. Yet there were thousands of Mexicans living in that territory. They suddenly became Mexican American, but were still considered foreigners by many Anglo-Americans. After the war, Mexicans contributed to immigration to the Southwest looking for jobs or a better life. The US government often encouraged this migration. There was a lot of discrimination in California and other parts of the US against Latino families. And again, there were separate schools for children of Mexican descent. They particularly targeted students who didn't speak a lot of English or were thought to be too brown. So, this brings us to the Mendez family.
This reminds me of our health teacher who didn't think that I could speak English or that you could speak Spanish and translate for them.
That is so funny.
Times haven't changed that much, fellas.
A little bit, but yeah.
Oh, quite a bit, but still a ways to go.
There's definitely, yeah. So, the Mendez family, we have Gonzalo, who was from Mexico, and we have, oh god, Felicitas? Why, that sounds wrong. Sero!
Let me go to your doc. I was getting the pictures, let me see. Yeah. Felicitas.
Okay, Felicitas. She was from Puerto Rico. They got married.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, they got married. They came to the U.S.
Hi.
Gonzalo had a successful agricultural business. They had just moved to Westminster to tend a farm that they were renting from the Moonmitsus, a Japanese-American family that had been sent to the internment camps during World War II. This family, Sylvia, the daughter, she had 5 siblings. 1, 2, 3, 4 brothers and 1 sister. There we go. And in 1943, 1943, when Sylvia Mendez was only 8 years old, she accompanied her Aunt Sally, her father's sister, her Aunt Sally, and her brothers and cousins to enroll at the 17th Street Elementary School, which was actually like really close to her home, okay? Her aunt was told by the school officials that her children, who had light skin, would be permitted to enroll, but neither Sylvia or her brothers would be allowed to because they were dark skinned and had a Hispanic surname. Now, Sally's surname was
Vidari?
I'm not even gonna. Yeah, she married a French.
Yeah.
He was French something. Guy. So yeah.
Vidori!
But yeah. But Aunt Sally, she wasn't playing. She was pissed. She stormed out of the school with her children, her niece, and her nephew, and she recounted her experience to her brother, Gonzalo. She was not. And I watched a few documentaries, and she was not. Sally was not playing. But yeah, the public school did not admit Hispanic students, and the family was told to enroll the Mendez children to Hoover Elementary School, which was specifically for Mexican Americans. When Gonzalo and Felicitas Mendez went to appeal the decision at the school rejected their claim. And with the help of the League of United Latin American Citizens and the other civil rights organizations, the Mendez family brought a federal lawsuit against the school district, which was appealed all the way up to the U.S. Courts of Appeals. So, Mendez versus Westminster. In 1945, Gonzalez hired civil rights attorney David Marcus, who filed a federal lawsuit against Westminster and 3 other school districts in Orange County. Joining the suit were 4 other Mexican American families whose children had been forced to attend segregated schools. It took them a whole year before they were actually able to take this case to trial, because it took a lot of time and money from all the families that were involved. Sylvia's family, as well as other members of the other families, have spoken out about the hardships that this did cause, because it really was like a financial burden and like a time burden. But they did it after a year. They went to court. Marcus argued that segregating children based on ethnicity was a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. He also stated that segregating children was detrimental because it interfered with their ability to learn English and made them feel inferior. Get this. This is what the defense countered, okay?
Okay.
The defense countered that segregation was based on the fact that Hispanic students were deficient in English and needed special instruction.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
man.
was the defense for segregating. Yeah.
Okay, man.
Yeah, right? But in 1946, the judge ruled in favor of Mendez and ordered the 4 school boards to stop segregating Hispanic children. And the next year, because, obviously the schools weren't very happy about that and tried to appeal, right?
Yeah.
The next year, an appeals court upheld the decision a couple of months later, and the state of California ended up outlawing all segregation in its public schools. So Mendez versus Westminster paved the way for the landmark of the 1954 Supreme Court case Brown versus Board of Education. Because this The Mendez case happened a good 8 years before Brown versus Board of Education. And
so they probably used this in Brown versus Board as a...
Yup. Thurgood Marshall, who represented the plaintiffs, used Marcus's equal protection argument to successfully argue that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. So even though California, 8 years previously, outlawed segregation, the rest of the United States was behind, okay?
As they usually are.
Yeah. So, Thurgood Marshall, which, I mean, I know a lot of history classes have mentioned this name. He used the original argument from Mendez for Brown versus Board of Education. So the school districts appealed the case to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. The Court of Appeals I meant to put this higher up, my bad.
Oh, okay.
This is going back to the appeal for Mendez versus Westminster. It was the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, and the Court of Appeals affirmed Judge McCormick's ruling. 2 months later, California Governor Earl Warren signed a bill ending school segregation in California, making it the first state to officially desegregate its public schools. So, statute. Yeah, thank you.
I didn't want you to say statues.
Yeah, Sero editing my stuff. Thanks. So, this is how it went, too, because it didn't all happen at once, the desegregation of the schools in California. It didn't all happen at once. How it went was, a year after Mendez was decided, California repealed, oh my god, California repealed 2 statutes. The first one was the segregation of Asian American students and separated schools. And then it was the segregation of Native American students in separate schools. So it went Mexicans, Asians, and then Native Americans. That's how it went.
And then Black Americans.
Oh, well, yes. No. Black Americans. Yes. I got that from a documentary, I would like to say.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't an article.
Interesting. I knew that there was forms of segregation in schools for all minorities. I just didn't realize that it was so close to segregation as a whole. I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The documentary I was listening to, it had Sylvia in it. It had I don't remember which brother, but one of the brothers. Her sister Sandra was in it. Her mother, before she died, was in it. And there were so many other people that were actually involved with the Mendez versus Westminster case. Like different lawyers and stuff like that, too, that were all in it. And everybody was talking about it. And the thing they really hit on the most was that people didn't realize how bad the segregation for other minority groups actually was.
Yeah. Well, because we don't learn about it. We don't learn about it at all.
No.
We literally only learn about Brown versus Board of Education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, the, totem pole of, segregation wasn't specifically said, but definitely hinted to. It's very messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like mentioned before, Thurgood Marshall, who years later used the same like reasonings before the Supreme Court in Brown versus Board of Education. The Supreme Court adopted many of Marshall's arguments and in 1954 issued an opinion declaring that separating children in public schools on the basis of race was unconstitutional. And the opinion was written by Chief Justice Earl Warren. So, on January 19th, 1948, Mendez and her siblings were finally allowed to attend the 17th Street Elementary School, thus becoming one of the first Hispanics to attend an all-white school in California. However, the situation was not easy. Her white peers called her names and treated her poorly. She knew that she had to succeed after her father fought for her to attend the school. Sadly, Gonzalo Mendez died in 1964 at the age of 51. So let's back up here. He died in 1964. That's so sad.
Yeah.
There's a lot that happens afterwards that he just never got to see.
Yeah.
So he was unaware of the impact that their case
was going to have.
What he fought for would, have on the nation. Now, Felicitas Mendez lived another 3 decades and died of heart failure at her daughter's home in April 1999. The family never talked about it. Okay, so this is what I was talking about at the very beginning of the podcast. Nobody heard. The family never fucking talked about the case. Their youngest daughter, Sandra Mendez, didn't even know that this happened.
That's crazy.
Until she was in college. She was in college flipping through the index of one of her textbooks and then saw, like, Mendez versus whatever, and then, like, she saw her parents' names listed, and she was like, what? That's insane! Can you imagine that?
Yeah, no, I can't. I mean, especially, like, the parents, right? They're living it, they're just doing what they are, what they can to, like, make their children's lives better. They don't necessarily get how historical of a thing they've just done is. Yeah. So they probably didn't think to, like, brag about it or to, like, educate their kids about the whole situation because, like, the youngest at least, because the elder ones obviously were living it. They were old enough to go to school and stuff. But they probably just didn't even think about it to, like, make it such a big deal. But now it's a huge deal if we look back at it, like, historically. Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, I couldn't imagine, like, flipping through a thing and then be like, wait, that's my name. Wait, those are my parents. What the heck?
I know. And that documentary I was telling you about, because I watched a couple different ones, but the one I was referring to where everybody was kind of like in, one of her brothers was talking about how, like, at the time he didn't really, because I think he was only a couple years older than Sylvia. But at the time, he didn't really understand the significance of it either. He was just like, yeah, it was like, one day we couldn't go to the white school. And then
we were allowed to go.
We did go to the white school.
Yeah,
then we started going to the white school. So,
I'll have to ask my grandma if she ever had anything like this, because she would have been going to school around the same time. I know she got in trouble a lot because of her features, because she had, dark features, and so she went to a school where, like, they would, like, you weren't allowed to have makeup on, and you'd get, like, the ruler slap or whatever, like. Oh. But because her eyelashes were really long, and she just had really dark features. They always thought she had makeup on, so she got in trouble a bunch, and then she'd, like, wipe it off and be like, see, I don't have anything. And this is just my face, bro. So I wonder if she went to, I'll have to ask her, if she went to a Mexican school, or if she was able to go to Because her last name was very Mexican. So
Yeah, if your last name was very like Mexican or you were like dark, you were not allowed in
yeah,
the.
she's not super dark. That's why I'm not like super dark, but she did have a last name that was just Hispanic. So I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, and then you should let me know because now
Yeah.
I'm really curious and I'm
Yeah.
invested. But yeah, so Sylvia is living a good life. Um,
Let me know
she
if you want me
graduated.
to put anything up here.
Oh, what pictures did you do? I didn't even see.
I had this picture of the little girl up there for a while. I'm assuming that was Sylvia as a kid.
Yeah, there's a couple. That's her parents.
This statue are her parents.
There should have been a picture of an actual couple too. Yeah, there was a newspaper article with the
Oh, that
couple.
newspaper article. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here, I can put the news here. Ruling gives Mexican children equal right.
Woo! So yeah, that's her parents. Because they were definitely very, especially her father, very, very important to this case.
Oh yeah. They fought for their kids. Crazy. What are these sketches?
Mm-hmm. I'll be getting to that.
Okay, I'll save those then. And then we have yeah, just let me know when you want to put things up.
Yeah, I will. I will. You can put up the. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong. The Obama picture.
Okay. There she
So
is.
this is Sylvia in 2011, which we're getting to. So Sylvia graduated with an associate's degree in nursing from Orange Coast Community College. She then earned a bachelor's degree in nursing and public health certificate from California State University at Los Angeles. She subsequently worked at the Los Angeles County University of Southern California Medical Center for more than 30 years. I wasn't able to find the dates, but she did adopt two girls.
Oh wow.
Um, lived in Fullerton, California.
Okay.
After she retired from nursing, Mendez was active in teaching others about her legal case. And then in 2011, US President Barack Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her work in civil rights. So she herself didn't even, like, from what I gathered, she herself didn't even really, like, open up about the case or anything until, like, after her
Yeah.
nursing career. But, here's a quote from Sylvia. There's nothing that can keep them from becoming a president, a lawyer, a teacher. Oh my god, I just messed it up. God damn it! How did
Start
I
run it
mix up
back.
nurse and teacher?
Run it back.
Okay, so Sylvia's talking to parents, okay? There's nothing that can keep them from becoming a president, a lawyer, a nurse, or a teacher, Mendez said. If my parents did it and I did it, there's no reason why these students can't do it and succeed. Now, in a documentary I saw, she's very for the American dream. She always tells like the younger generation, the American dream is possible. It's hard, but it's possible, and it takes a lot of. Now, oh, here's the documentary I watched. Motherfucker, I forgot I put it down. So, the documentary I watched was made by Sandra Robbie. She wrote and produced the documentary Mendez versus Westminster for All the Children, Para Todos los Niños, which debuted on KOC TV in Orange County on September 24th, 2022. And you can actually like find it. So I watched it for free. Sandra Robbie did post it for free on YouTube on her account. I'm pretty sure her account's just Sandra Robbie. I don't remember exactly, but she did post it for free on YouTube. So, but it did debut in Orange County on September 24th, 2022, as a part of the National Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, which goes with our theme.
Does
the
indeed.
the documentary also aired on PBS and won an Emmy Award and a Golden Mike Award. And on September 9th, 2009, a second school opened in Los Angeles community of Boyle Heights, bearing the name Felicitas and Gonzalo Mendez Learning Center, which you can pull that up. Oh wait, that's the high school. Oh, I didn't get a picture of the learning center. Well, you can do the picture of the high school.
Okay.
There's an international high school with Felicitas' name.
Learning Pavilion, is that the thing?
That's Sylvia.
Okay.
This is the parents.
Well, I'll
This is
put both up.
Hamada. It's the school. Yeah, you can put both up. I'm gonna get to that anyway. Sylvia also, I mean, there's so many things named after them in California now, like in that area, in the family. So, yeah. On May 23rd, 2018, the Board of Berkeley Unified School Districts voted anonymously to rename Le Conte Elementary School as Sylvia Mendez Elementary School. And the school is a Spanish-English two-way immersion school. Mendez has been a spokesperson at the Berkeley schools. So you can see her here. And then if you want to get the pictures of like the sketches and the park and the statues, that's what I'm going to be talking about next. She's so cute though. That picture of her with Barack Obama was adorable. And the kids, there we go. And then the Mendez tribute park thing. Oh, look at that. It's an ad.
Oh, I am moving us.
Woo! Oh, whoops. I just messed up the dimensions on my dock. Okay, there we go. So, Mendez Historic Freedom Trail and Monument. The Mendez Historic Freedom Trail Monument opened December 1st, 2022. So not that long ago, guys. Just a few years ago. At 7371 Westminster Boulevard in Westminster, California. It tells Sylvia's family story, basically. There's like little plaques and everything, like it goes through the story. The city of Westminster built the Mendez Historical Freedom Trail Monument to honor the achievement of the landmark Mendez versus Westminster School District case. It has interactive signs describing this historical desegregation case accompanied with statues and educational activities. It has two statues, one of the parents, Gonzalo and Felicitas Mendez, and then the second is of two children walking with two books in their hands. The statue of the children honors the 5,000 children that were represented in this case. At the bottom of the statue, it reads 1947 Toward Equality in Our Schools. The park also features a giant book monument that introduces the historical civil rights case. The trial and monument was funded by a state park program grant of close to $1.3 million and a California Natural Resource Agency of $2.3 million. So they have their own little park.
Ow!
It's so cute. I love it.
It's cute.
So yeah, that's the story of Sylvia and her family and Mendez versus Sister.
Wow.
Which honestly, I feel like if we learned about Brown versus Board of Education, we should have learned about this.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
for sure. I agree.
Just a little bit. Like, this was huge.
Yeah, it was like, I guess, I don't know. It's just
without this, who's to say Brown versus Board of
would
Education
have
wouldn't have
been
gone
gone.
differently?
Yeah, that's very true. Because without
Yeah.
like a previous case, sometimes for big stuff like this,
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't work. So, damn.
Yeah. So that's Sylvia.
Wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
she's so cute. I love that she's.
I know.
I
Mine
guess you
mine
could
is
say.
also. She's
Well, I
95.
guess you could say because my last one is like an older case.
Yeah.
So I say older, but it's actually not like that bad. But uh,
Yeah, my next one,
still,
Dolores, is
well,
95 right now.
actually, wait. My next one. Oh, she died in 1953. She died young. So I
Whoa.
guess it's not that far off.
When was she
Damn.
born?
She died at 39.
Okay, so she was,
She was
yeah, she wasn't that much
1914.
older
Yeah.
than our other ones that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy
Oazy.
to think that like really puts the perspective on like a lot of this history. I feel like is
Yeah,
newer,
for sure.
which is crazy to think about.
It is. It is crazy to like realize that time isn't actually it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
all right, let me change this quick.
I
All
didn't know if you could
right.
hear me sipping on my drink.
I heard a little bit, but not a lot. All right. So let's talk about Dolores.
Dolores. What a
Dolores
lovely name.
Huerta. Huerta.
What?
Dolores Huerta. All right.
Oh, I love
So
that picture.
I know. This is her
What?
striking.
I love that. Slay.
So, born April 10th, 1930, in Dawson, New Mexico, Huerta was the second of three children of Alicia and Juan Fernandez, a farm worker and miner who became a state legislator in 1938. Though, I will say, her parents do get divorced when Dolores is like 3, so her and her mom move
Aww.
off to Stockton, California with her grandfather and her siblings. And she doesn't really have a close relationship with Juan. She doesn't really get to see him very much growing up. So, but he does become a state legislator, which is interesting. But yeah, so her
Okay.
parents get divorced. She's only 3, so her and her mom and her siblings move to Stockton, California, and her mom juggles 2 jobs as a waitress and as a cannery worker. And her grandpa helps raise her and her brothers. And we have a change in pace for her mother when she finally is able to open a small restaurant. And then she also, funnily enough, gets a small hotel that she also like buys from a Japanese American family that was forced to relocate due to the executive order of 9066, executive order 9066. So every single story so far, every single one has involved a Japanese family
The
that they
Japanese.
either have bought from, been in relation with, or rented from that got shipped off
Yup.
to one of those camps. So
Yup.
weird coincidences going on here, or maybe just
Oh! I remember now that documentary
huh?
about the daughter, the documentary I was talking about for Sylvia and her
Uh-huh.
family. The one by I already forgot her name.
Sandra or Sandy or
Sandra Robbie.
yeah.
Yeah. The daughter of the family, the Japanese family, that they were
Renting from?
using the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, was in the documentary as well. And
Oh.
she briefly talked about like her brothers and her father and stuff too.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's super
Definitely should check it
interesting.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
It was only 30 minutes too. It's a short
We'll put it
documentary.
in the description. Just send me a message to remind me while I'm talking so that when I upload the VOD this weekend, I can put it in the description
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have a 70-room hotel now and a restaurant. And her mother, Alicia, is super involved in the community and community activism and compassionate treatment of workers, and that greatly influenced Dolores's life moving forward. Her mom was a member of the United Cannery, Agricultural, Packing, and Allied Workers of America, which is a labor union, and she participated in strikes, which, you know, we'll see soon, but influences her daughter quite a lot. She also grows up during, as Lila explained moments ago, a few minutes ago, about with the prejudice against Hispanics in the school district and school system.
Oh, yeah.
So her school teacher accused her of cheating because her papers were too well written when she was in school. And
Damn.
her brothers, or no, one of her brothers, after the end of World War II, was brutally beat by a white man for wearing a zoot suit, which is like a fashion thing in the Latin community. At least back in those days. I don't remember. I don't think anyone. Let me see. I knew what it was, but
I don't know what this is.
yeah, no, this is an old thing. This is like old 40s like Chicano stuff, like the zoot suit. I don't know if he's directly related to me or if it's like one of those people that, oh, it's uncle whatever, but he's not actually your uncle. He's just like a family friend. But I have a relative that wears these still, or he used to wear these like up until his death, like, and he had the big hat and everything. But anyways, yeah, her brother got beat up for wearing one of those. So all of that.
This is like, oh my gosh.
It's cute.
I know what this is.
I love it.
Yeah, it looks good.
I know. Well, not only Hispanic people started wearing them, it was also influenced by like the black community and then like gangsters.
Filipino, Italian, Japanese.
Yeah. Like a lot of different.
I just read it straight from a thing.
Yeah, a lot of different groups wore them, but it was like anyone but like the regular white man. So really, anyone was wearing one was probably not what they were for. If they were not, yeah. So he was targeted for wearing that. So she got influenced by both her mom's activism and also the prejudice and discrimination that she grew up around. And so when she became a teacher, she got her associate teaching degree from the University of Pacific's Delta College. That was like one of her biggest goals, was to kind of be the person for those kids who isn't going to discriminate against them and isn't going to belittle their dreams because they're not what everyone else thinks they are, you know?
Yeah.
Also, during this time, she marries her school sweetheart, Ralph Head. But unfortunately, after 3 years and 2 children, they don't work out. Sadly, high school sweetheart could have been really cute, but it's okay. It was maybe for the best. Maybe for the best. She begins teaching in rural California in 1954, and she's one of the 3 bilingual teachers in the area at all. So she has a very important job as being one of the only 3 bilingual teachers. But she finds within her first year of teaching that it's not for her. This is a direct quote from her. "I couldn't tolerate seeing kids come to class hungry and needing shoes. I thought I could do more by organizing farm workers than by trying to teach their hungry children." So she realized, yeah, I know. She realized that though she wanted to be there for those kids, what she really needed to do was make sure that their parents had the compensation, rights, and like health that they deserved for working in this country, so that they could provide for their children and, give them a better life. So after a year, she quit teaching and she began a career in activism. So she met Fred Ross, who was a founding member of the Community Service Organization. And this guy was a little loco to her. He was, she leaned more Republican at this time. And he was erring on the side of communist to her, is what she was like, he's a little too weird. But she had the FBI do a background check on him, and he came back clean. So she was like, okay, I'll give him a chance. So she starts attending meetings.
Damn!
Yeah. She starts attending meetings. She was not playing around. FBI background check, brother.
That's crazy.
So she starts attending the CSO meetings and becomes really good friends. It's more like a mentorship almost with Fred. And he encourages her to take on more active leadership roles and assignments. And by the late 1950s, she's co-founding a chapter of the CSO in Stockton. So she starts working as a lobbyist in support of retirement benefits to non-citizens and health coverage for farm workers. And she also advocates for neighborhood improvement projects. She taught citizenship classes, worked on voter registration drives. She did a lot. She did a lot with CSO. And this is also where she met her second husband, who was also an activist, Ventura Huerta, who she had 5 children with. They also did not last, unfortunately. She was a busy woman. She had a lot of passions and focus on her activism, and I think sometimes, that doesn't foster a long-lasting relationship with people sometimes.
My gal.
Yeah.
My next gal also had relationship issues.
Because, right when she founded a association was when they, was a little bit before they got a divorce. So that's speculation, obviously. I don't know these people, but I could assume that someone who's so passionate and involved in the community and activism sometimes doesn't have time or energy, or the other person doesn't feel valued as much. So it's not surprising, but she gets 5 beautiful children out of it. So I'm sure it's worth it. And in 1958, she founds the Agricultural Workers Association. Now, this dissolves within a year, but this kind of kickstarts the founding things that are finding organizations that she eventually gets really good at and is very good at maintaining later in years. But this also helps her kind of get her toe in the door of some of these things that she wants to get started. So she works with the AWA, but she also is still working for CSO, the Community Service Organization. And she was having a lot of issues because the groups were run not the way that she wanted them to be, and there was a lot of unwillingness to advocate for farm workers, which was what she was really focused on as someone that was directly impacted by that stuff.
Yeah.
And who had to see it firsthand from not only her life, but also the children that she had to teach and their parents and whatnot. So she gets fed up with how everyone else is doing it. Her Agricultural Workers Association doesn't work out. So in 1962, her and Cesar Chavez, who is a fellow organizer from CSO, they found the National Farm Workers Association, which later becomes the United Farm Workers Union, which is, I believe, still the union today. Let me make sure. United Farmer Worker Union. Yep, it's still the union today. So, yeah, labor union for farm workers in the United States. Founders Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, and Philip Vera Cruz. So, yeah, so her second founding is still up and running, guys. The second one was successful. They did a lot of work with this one. They had specific rules, each of them. There was 3 founders. Most people focus on Huerta and Chavez, but there was also Cruz. I don't know much about him because everybody just talks about Chavez and Huerta, which really everyone just talks about Chavez, which I'll kind of get into later.
I was going to say that name sounded really familiar.
Yeah, Cesar Chavez is like what most people associate with some of the things that Huerta really does, but we'll get into it. Okay.
Yeah.
But Chavez respects and fully acknowledges the vitalness and like critical role that Huerta has in this organization. He talks about how her making the phone calls, collecting the union dues, visiting the worker camps around Stockton and nearby towns, this was they couldn't have flourished if it wasn't for Huerta. And she serves as the vice president for the UFW up until 1999. So obviously she's doing a lot of great work. She's, her passions are, she's going after them, but this kind of work doesn't always give a great paycheck, So she's having to do other things. She's being a translator. She is an onion farmer for a bit, working in, the onion fields. She's a substitute teacher. She does a lot of different things to get by. And then she also starts organizing strikes, which you can see a picture of her here. I believe this is during the grape strike, I think.
Oh.
If it's not the grape one, it might be the rose one. Unsure. But so she helps organize in 1965 a strike on the behalf of rose grafters. And after 3 days, she gets the companies to agree to increase the strikers' wages, but they do not want to make a formal contract. So a little win and loss there. And then 5 months later, she helps support another strike of 5,000 grape workers. So to help support the strike, she organizes a bunch of boycotts throughout California, and is then eventually sent to New York and New Jersey to start up boycotts there as well. And basically what she do is she gets a bunch of local churches, labor organizations, activists, student groups. She gets them all out to the grocery stores, AP Grocery Store, Bohawk, Phoenast Hills, Waldbaum's, all things that we don't have anymore, I'm sure. But she gets them all out to the stores, pickets them for days until they stop selling grapes. And then eventually that leads to her and the UFW getting the companies of a few of these places to start writing up contracts. And she becomes one of the first contract negotiators for the UFW. And she negotiates with a bunch of different grape companies, and she's able to get them favorable contracts for the workers. And then by the time, 1970 was when the strikes ended. So 1965, 66 to July 29th, 1970, She helped secure a contract with all of the remaining companies. They increased workers' wages, added new safety rules, protected workers from pesticides, which is a really big thing for farm workers that a lot of people were just kind of ignoring up until this point, that she was like super passionate about, because a lot of, farm workers were dying of pesticide poisoning because they were working in the fields all day with all of that pesticide being inhaled and whatnot. So she also created a health fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a lot for farm workers, and I never even thought about like farm workers as like needing that kind of unification, because I guess growing up I was, out in the corn at my grandparents' house, and it was all just like
Out on the
family run
corn.
farms. And by this point in time, pesticides are kind of like frowned upon, and like, there's already the unions, but this is before all of that, so obviously it's going to be way different. And you never really think about the before before all the regulations, um and
Yeah.
she was a big part of getting all of that done, getting all of that set up, um especially with the UFW, especially that. So we got another grape boycott here, 1973. She does another consumer boycott of grapes, which results in the groundbreaking California Agricultural Labor Relations Act of 1975. This allows farm workers to form unions and bargain for better wages and conditions. So, big, huge, huge stuff going on there, because unions, like, unions have always been like, oh, we don't want them. No, we really need them, like back and forth polarizing
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
And so for this act to be passed and allow the farmer workers to fight for their own like work conditions, rather than having to go through like a lengthy like legal court case or something because they get hurt or disabled because of some condition that wasn't met, it makes it a lot easier for them to quickly and efficiently get what they need done. So, very cool. And then we have her lobbying. So she lobbies throughout the 70s and 80s for improved workers like legislative representation. She also works in the 90s and 2000s to elect more Latinos and women to political office. And this is where she starts championing women issues. Before, she was a little iffy about feminism. She wasn't really sure if it was really like women's liberation or more of a middle class thing, like a middle class phenomenon. Um, but by the mid 1980s, she started calling herself a born again feminist, is what she called herself. And that's when she started to reassess her beliefs about women issues and really get into women issues and start fighting for women issues. And then she really dove into women issues after 1988. Now, this is where we get into the sadness of what being an activist and fighting for people's rights can, lead to. So, at a peaceful protest for farm workers in San Francisco, Huerta, along with a lot of other people, were severely beaten by police officers,
Oh no.
trying to get them, to get away from the front of the building that they were standing in front of peacefully, as I said before. But they, were beating them with the batons and whatnot. And unfortunately, Huerta was one of the people that got severely beaten. She had a ruptured spleen, several broken ribs, and severe internal bleeding that required emergency surgery. She did eventually get a settlement for the incident. She got like $825,000, but that was like much later, and it left her with a lot of pain and suffering, obviously, but also she had to step away from her work for a bit. She had to do a leave of absence from the UFW, and during this leave of absence is when she started working with and looking into the feminist side of things. So that's when she starts working with the Feminist Majority Foundation, and as a part of the Feminist Majority Foundation, their campaign Feminization of Power, she starts encouraging Latina women to run for office to increase political visibility for not only women, but Hispanic and Latino women and men in the community. So once she has fully recovered and returns to the UFW, she's working for MF and UFW until 1999 when she retires from the UFW. So she retires from being vice president in 1999, still works with FMF, and still does a bunch of other stuff in terms of activism and whatnot. And let me get picture up here. There she is now-ish. I don't know. This is from 2023.
Oh,
so this
she's
is
so cute.
Yeah, she's from 2 years ago. So this is her 2 years ago. Love the outfit. She's so cute. She received the Eleanor Roosevelt Human Rights Award in 1998, and you put this on here. She also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2012.
Yay!
So we got a double Obama
slay.
picture today. Two Obamas in the house.
Girly slay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always slay, man. They always slay. And then as of 2015, she was a board member of the FMF, the Secretary's Treasurer Emeritus of the United Farm Workers of America, and the president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. So she's still very active in activism in her community and all of the different organizations that she believes in. And 2017, she was also an honorary co-chair for the Women's March in Washington, D.C., which, if you remember, was that huge, 4.1 million people, civil rights movement that was in Washington, D.C. under the first Trump the presidency. So during his first presidency, when they all marched on to, I don't remember if it was at the Needle or whatever, where it was, but it was a lot of people. I remember that.
Yeah.
And that was when the women's rights stuff was kind of being floated around and challenged. So she was an honorary co-chair for that. She is still living and thriving today. 2 months ago, she did a interview on Jimmy Kimmel for some Hispanic Heritage History interview segment, because it wasn't Jimmy Kimmel interviewing her, it was someone else. But she talked about her activism and why she does what she does and what she believes, and what she still thinks that we need to continue to improve and whatnot. And then another big thing about Dolores Huerta, she has coined a... Sorry, I'm looking at... Oh, you want me to show you that? Okay, I'll show that, yeah. Oh, that's the video. Yeah. Thank you for sending me.
I was like, you don't need to show that. That's 30 minutes long. I was no.
So Dolores Huerta came up with a slogan for basically anything that she was involved in that had to do with Hispanic, the Hispanic community needing to push back against what society tells them they can't do or couldn't do or whatever. And her saying, "Si se puede," became a well-known chant, slogan, just like words of encouragement and like confidence in the community. And a lot of people attribute it to Cesar Chavez, which is false. And a lot of people in like documentaries or like people that speak say that he made it, but really she did. And Obama actually stole her slogan because he translated it into English, and you know his thing, yes we can, that's what Si Se Puede means. So he literally took it and translated it to English. And when he was doing his speech about her Presidential Medal of Freedom, he was like, I'm so glad that you're okay that I stole your saying. Because I know what kind of woman you are and I would not want to mess with you, is basically what he said.
I love that!
Yeah, so there's a documentary about her as well that I think everyone should watch. I'll have to link that as well. But it's really interesting because a lot of her accomplishments were erased a little bit by, you know, the men that she was working with to do these things. And I mean, that's just like history in general, right? That, I mean, women who are working with men are usually overshadowed by the men in historical pieces and textbooks and whatnot. So it was really interesting to learn about her perspective and her side of it, you know, what she helped create, that I never knew about at all, except for, I mean, I knew about some of it, mostly like the like strikes and like that side of it, but I knew more about Chavez than I did about her. So
yeah, I was gonna say I've definitely heard his name.
Yeah, no, I definitely have heard his name. But she was so involved. She was so involved, and I definitely think that I don't know if we necessarily need to learn about her and like, but there definitely should, because like unions and like trade work, I feel like we like if you go to like go into something like that, you should learn about the history of it and like make sure that you know about that side of things, because they are who made it to where your job is like healthier and more secure and like regulated and not gonna make you like deathly ill by the age of 40, you know? But there's so much history, and you really can't learn it all. So I get why they pick it.
That's
bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I get it. I just wish we could learn more as kids.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Yeah, because like if in the perfect world, we would learn about all of these different people and all of these different situations and like the impact they have on like everything moving forward in our lives. But there's just too many iconic people, honestly, to learn about. I just wish they diversified their icons a little bit. maybe that's what we need. A diverse group of icons. Rather than just like the same old same, you know?
Yeah, I get,
But awesome woman, I do wish still that, like, alive today, 95, still going strong. Activism, still going.
I love that.
Still doing interviews. All that stuff.
There were like so many people, I feel like, under Obama that got like those medals.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Has anyone gotten one from you know who?
I don't know. I don't want to know because I don't know if I'd agree with it.
Yeah, I don't either. All right, we're moving on.
Okay.
A coach? Sorry. I just saw. I just saw.
What?
I just saw one of the people that got a medal.
Oh,
And it was a
okay.
coach
Oh,
for
interesting.
yeah. I'll send you the list, brother.
Okay. Oh yeah, cool. Send it. Okay, so now we are gonna talk about
Okay, interesting.
Julia de Burgos? Yeah, I think it's Burgos. Julia de Burgos. She was born February 17th, 1914, and she died July 6th, 1953. She did unfortunately die kind of young. She died at... Oh? Is this from
Yeah.
who I think it is?
Yeah. And that's
Oh, yeah, I
this
see.
recent year.
What? Wait! Wait!
Yeah.
Elvis?
Yeah. I know. That's why I was like, what? Okay. Okay. I
Tiger
guess.
Woods is on there?
I know. Why Tiger Woods? I'm so confused. There's a lot of sports people, which I'm not like mad about. I just don't understand why. I know he loves golf, but like, there's 1, 2, 3 golfers on here, professional golfers, and then there's 1, 2 Olympic athletes. One, yeah, there's 2 baseball, 2 basketball, auto racing team.
Of course, he just got added on there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very confused by all the sports people. But,
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
Even
Anyways.
the person who just got it added on makes more sense than some of the sports
That's
people.
what I'm saying. Like to his thing, it makes way more sense. But Tiger Woods, go, sure. For whatever. Sure.
Whatever. Okay. So, Julia de Burgos, February 17th, 1914 through July 6th, 1953. Oh, sorry guys. That was a big yawn. I believe I said earlier she was 39. She died.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, you can just put up
all of them.
All of her pictures.
I'm getting them. Slowly but surely.
Pretty. She's so pretty.
And she's beautiful.
So, Julia was a Puerto Rican poet, journalist, Puerto Rican independence advocate, and teacher. She was an advocate for the Puerto Rican independence, and she served as Secretary General of the Daughters of Freedom and the women's branch of the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party. She was a civil rights activist for women and African and Afro Caribbean writers. She's so pretty. So, she's a poet, and oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay. Whoever judges my soul by the skin that blankets me doesn't even extend herself to what her voice reaches. That is an English translation. So, but the message is still there. Okay. So before we kind of get into her, little history lesson here on Puerto Rico, because I did not know anything going into this. I kid you not. So I don't know how Sero did it, but I pulled up a list of historical people within the community, and I just
picked random.
Honestly, pick randomly. So like, I was like, whoa, what is this? That's insane, kind of thing. Okay. So we're time traveling, okay? Back to Spain. So, after 400 years of colonial domination under the Spanish Empire, Puerto Rico received sovereignty in 1889 through what's called in English Charter of a not oh my god. A not odd
Same.
English is so hard.
Same.
English is so hard. Autonomy. God. Charter of Autonomy. God. That was signed by the Spanish Prime Minister Prades Mateo Sagasta and ratified by the Spanish Cortez. Yep, we're already doing great. However, at the conclusion of the Spanish-American War, it was still at the age of imperialism and manifest density, which I didn't know what that was, but that was the imperialist belief in the 19th century United States that American settlers were destined to expand westward across North America, and that this belief was both obvious and certain, so manifest in density. The belief is rooted in American exceptionalism, romantic nationalism, and white nationalism. So yeah, didn't know that that was a thing. Good to know there's a name for it. So yeah, that was during that time. The United States claimed rule over the island, Puerto Rico, under the Treaty of Paris, and the U.S. demanded, oh god, I know this word. Hold on. The U.S. demanded, cessions? No. Oh god.
Let
Oh
me see.
no.
Where are we?
I know this word, but my brain is like not function right now. Go down to my first comment.
Sessions? Is that just sessions? What is this?
Yeah,
it's just session.
Okay, I just mistyped. God damn it.
No. It's a formal giving up of rights, property, or territory by a state.
Oh my god, okay. That makes so much more sense. God. It's spelled differently, guys.
Yeah.
So the United States claimed rule over the island under the Treaty of Paris and demanded cessions from its defeated foe, Spain. The Puerto Rican National Party arose among opponents to this action, who said that as a matter of international law, the Treaty of Paris could not empower the Spanish to give what was no longer theirs. Which, honestly, mood. That makes sense to me, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the U.S. administered Puerto Rico as a territory, initially with a military government. And there had been a push to seeking independence from the United States from the earliest days of U.S. rule. From the many groups and parties that existed in the first 2 decades after the Treaty of Paris, the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party emerged as the main affiliation. First organized on September 17, 1922, the Nationalist Party's main objective was Puerto Rico's independence. By 1930, disagreements between Jose Cole Jose Cole y Cucci. Oh God, Sero.
Okay. Jose Cole y Cucci and Pedro Albizu. Campos.
There we go.
Pedro Albizu Campos.
Yep. So those guys had a disagreement as how the party should be run, which led the former and his followers to abandon the party. So on May 11th, 1930, Campos was elected president of the Nationalist Party. And social unrest increased during the Great Depression. Okay, so we're in the 1930s, right? Great Depression. Puerto Rico was in a Great Depression. And the party became the largest independent movement in Puerto Rico. Also, during this time, in the mid-1930s, the nationalist movement gained support after the Rio Piedras and the Ponce massacres. So, the first massacre, the Rio Piedras. I am so sorry for anything I mispronounced, by the way. Okay. So that was basically, that happened at a university in Puerto Rico on October 24th, 1935. Puerto Rican police officers confronted and opened fire on supporters of the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party. 4 Nationalist Party members were killed, and 1 police officer was wounded during the shooting. And then the other massacre took place on Palm Sunday, March 21st, 1937, when a peaceful civilian march turned into a police shooting in which 7 civilians and 2 policemen were killed, and more than 200 civilians were. None of the civilians were armed, and most of the dead were reportedly shot in their back. That's horrible. The march had been organized by the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party to commemorate the abolition of slavery in Puerto Rico by the governing Spanish National Assembly in 1823, and to protest the U.S. government's imprisonment of the party's leader, Pedro Albizu Campos, on sedition charges. So yeah, lots of unfortunate massacres during the 1930s, during the Nationalist Party movement. So by the early 1930s, it became evident that the US had failed to fulfill its promises of political and economic improvement for Puerto Rico. Unemployment soared to 30.2% even before the onset of the Great Depression. And with the per capita income for Puerto Ricans in 1930 was only at a mere $230, as 1.5 million Puerto Ricans faced extreme poverty, lacking basic necessities such as housing, food, medical services. And while that was all going on, the fucking American sugar company prospered. The American sugar companies, they like took over. So, U.S. corporations such as American Sugar Refinery, which is Domino Sugar. Seen that? You know that? These guys, they systematically acquired vast amounts of land. This led to the disposition of smaller farms, who were then forced to become wage laborers on the very land that was once their own. By the 1930s, U.S. companies controlled 80% of Puerto Rico's sugar farms, which covered half of the island's fertile land. Sugar plantation workers, including women and children, endured extremely low pay for long hours of backbreaking work in the tropical heat. And by 1933, wages for sugar workers had dropped significantly, with some earning as little as 50 to 80 cents for a 12-hour day. So, yeah, no, America really sucks. That's not okay. The economic downturn brought by the Great Depression only made it worse, and it made the circumstances very grim. Notably, the New Deal, which was FDR's initiative to revive the US economy, shifted its focus toward Puerto Rico's economic plight, exposing the failures of colonial policy. Rexford G. Tugwell, a member of FDR's Brain Trust, remarked on the degradation caused by colonialism, asserting that Puerto Ricans were forced to, quote, beg for relief, reducing them to, quote, sometimes less than the men they were born to be. That was somebody from, FDR's,
Yeah.
yeah. So Puerto Rico became emblematic.
Emblematic.
Yeah. Emblematic. Puerto Rico became okay, I can't say it. Of the failed. It's funny because it's like I can hear it in my head, but I can't say it with my mouth.
I get it.
Of the failed American dream of managing an empire as a democracy, a notion Walter Lippmann critiqued as an impossible imperialistic fantasy. It was not until the election of Luis Monaz oh my god! Luis Marin as governor in 1948 that a glimpse of hope emerged. The U.S. sought to humanize its colonial experiment by collaborating with him in Popular Democratic Party, PDP, the Popular Democratic Party, PDP, okay, which blended socialist, independent. These are English words. What? Okay, so the Popular Democratic Party, PDP, it had beliefs of some liberal elements, okay? It had some socialist beliefs and independent beliefs, like all blended together. Independista, yeah.
Independentista. What is that? Is that a Spanish word?
I took that straight from the document, so.
Oh, yeah. A person who supports or works toward political independence. Independentista.
Okay. Now you see why I was struggling.
Yeah, it was not a normal word. Trust me.
So yeah, all those beliefs were what made the Popular Democratic Party. And this strategy aimed to marginalize militant nationalism while obscuring the ongoing U.S. control of the island. Although Munzo Marnin worked with the Truman administration to establish the Estado Libre Asociado de Puerto Rico, ELA, or Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, advocates for both statehood and independence perceived this arrangement as a subordinate status. How'd I do on that one?
Nice.
Estado Libre is, yeah, okay. So that's just some background of what we're getting into because the Nationalist Party is pretty big for Julia de Burgos. So, Julia de Burgos, or Julita, as her family called her, was born in Santa Cruz pretend I can roll my R's. Barrio of Carolina on February 17th, 1914, to a poor family. Her father, Francisco, was a farmer of German descent, In addition, he was a working member of the Puerto Rican National Guard. And then her mother, Paula Garcia de Burgos, was an Afro-Puerto Rican. Julia was the eldest daughter in a family of 13. Julia loved the landscape of her homeland, especially the Rio Grande de Lozia. Is that what it's called? I've never seen that at the end of that before.
Rio Grande de Loisia? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That in a poem, oh yeah, I saw her poem titled that, so yeah, that makes sense. That in a poem of the same name, she calls my wellspring my river, since the maternal petal lifted me to the world. That's, again, an English translation. At a young age, she learned to love literature. She's a beautiful, precocious, sensitive, and and what? Oh my god, my eyeballs are lines. I am so sorry. She is beautiful, precocious, sensitive, and has a foul. Okay, I have to zoom in. My eyeballs are. How do you zoom it? Don't answer that. I know how to zoom in. Give me 1 second. There we go. I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. She is beautiful, precocious, sensitive, and has a love for languages. Her childhood on the island of Puerto Rico gave her an appreciation for a deep love of nature. Tragically, 6 of her younger siblings did die of malnutrition. Nevertheless, she was the only one given the opportunity to attend school. Can you imagine that? Being from a family of like 13 and 6 of your siblings die because you're so poor and they die from malnutrition.
That's
crazy.
so sad.
And she was the only one out of all of her siblings that got to go to school. She went to elementary school in Carolina, and at age 14, she entered University High School at the University of Puerto Rico. In 1931, she earned a scholarship to study at the University of Puerto Rico. She graduated with a degree in teaching and became an elementary school teacher at 19 years old. She also started writing poetry around this time. She taught at Fejio Elementary School in Barrio Cedro. I hate ours. Arriba of Narquito, Puerto Rico. I'm so sorry. Julia's teaching career was cut short when there was so many R's. Julia's teaching career was cut short when she met her first husband, Ruben Rodriguez. B.O. It continues. Okay. Ruben Rodriguez Chomp? Okay, Ruben. In 1934, she stopped teaching to focus on her married life and on her writing. However, this poor girl. However, her marriage was not happy, and due to time constraints brought on by her participation in the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party, she and her husband divorced 3 years later in 1930. Julia later adopted Julia de Burgos. Yeah, my mind right now. She adopted De to her name, which indicates marital status or possession after divorcing her first husband. The name change symbolized a repossession of her identity.
I see.
Because she wasn't, like, Julio de Burgos
Yeah.
to begin with. Oh, there we are. Burgos this poor girl. Okay. Burgos experienced tumultuous relationships for the rest of her life. She had one relationship with a Dominican physician, Dr. Juan Isidro Jimenez oh gosh, that's the yeah. Gurian? Yeah. Dr. Juan. And one with her second husband, Armando Marnin. So these were the only other two people in her life that she had relationships with, and they did not work out at all. Homegirl was not good with relationships. While these relationships allowed her to travel to Cuba in the United States, Julia became very depressed when each of them ended, and she fell into further and further into depression and alcohol. This poor girl.
Yeah. Part of
But
life.
before getting too much into the depression and alcoholism, because that's more towards the end of her life, let's go back to not that. Widespread poverty, which worsened during the Depression, and frustration over the American occupation of Julia joined the National Party in 19. So going back in dates here, she stopped teaching in 1934, and she joined the Nationalist Party in 1936. Okay. She rallied women, particularly to advocate for Puerto Rican independence. Meanwhile, she wrote scripts for a children's radio program under the sponsorship of Puerto Rico's Department of Public Instruction. But she was terminated due to her political affiliations. Her first collection of poems was published in 1934, titled Poemas Exgatos a mi misma. In this book, she already showed her intense lyricalism, lyricism, and subjective mood. In 1938, Poema en Vientes. I am so happy there are certain people not watching this now. like Shady.
Yeah.
Juan. I can't even imagine the
You're
things that they
trying.
would be saying.
You're trying your best, bro.
Poema en Vientes Surcos was published, followed a year later by Canción de la Verdad Sencilla. Yeah. Both books earned her recognition as one of the most outstanding contemporary poets, not just in Puerto Rico, but in the Spanish-speaking Caribbean. She also published 3 books that contained a collection of her poems to promote her first 2 books. There's a comma there. To promote her first 2 books, she traveled all over Puerto Rico giving readings. Her third book was published in 1954, collecting poetry that addressed the social struggles of those oppressed on the island of Puerto Rico. Some critics have placed her poetry among the worst feminist writers and poets, along with that of other Latinx authors. She writes in one of her poems, I am life, strength, woman. That's a classic line I saw pop. Again, that is, I think, an English translation. She experienced difficulty fitting into Puerto Rican intellectual circles due to being both a divorced woman in a conservative Roman Catholic society and a person of African descent. again, remember, her mom was Afro. At the time, most intellectuals working towards reform were neither interested in feminism nor civil rights for Afro-Puerto Ricans. Her poetry dealt frankly with the violence that both the islanders' indigenous people and the enslaved Africans suffered during the colonial period. She left Puerto Rico for New York in 1940, never to return. She, like, literally vowed she would not return, dude. She vowed. That was when she lived with her lover, Juan, the doctor, the Dominican doctor. And he was actually the son of a president of the Dominican Republic. Yeah. And then later that year, she and Juan relocated to Cuba. So that's when she was in Cuba. And was remarried for 2 years. And then, you know, like, that didn't work out again.
Wow, yeah.
And then
she also had the similar issues.
Yeah. Yeah. In 1943, but she never had children.
Yeah.
In 1943, Julia became a columnist for Pueblos Hispanos, a New York-based Hispanic newspaper. Her poems appeared there and other Spanish-language newspaper periodicals. So after being in Cuba with Juan, when that didn't work out, she ended up in New York, and that was when she was with that was when she was with Armando. Wait, did her and Juan not... Hold on. Now I'm getting confused. I can't remember. She only remarried one of them. I don't actually know if it was Juan or if it was Armando. I looked at so many different articles, and so many different articles covered different aspects of her life. It was crazy. I was going back and forth literally between 7 articles.
That's what I had to do with Guy as well.
Was her actual second husband? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so she did not marry Juan. She married Armando. That was her second husband. And he was actually a Puerto Rican musician. Fun fact. But yeah, after, just like her first marriage, that went off. Did not end well. That ended in divorce. And she was in New York with him. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, going back to it. Going back down here. So, our poor girl cannot find love. But her poems are great. Her poems are really good. So, this section is called The Sad Death and Immortality of Julia de Burgos. And I do realize death and immortality are like opposites, but her last poem kind of like predicted her death. Hold up, I forgot to find the phrase, but this like blew my mind. She literally wrote about dying in her last poem before she died. Farewell from Welfare Island. It was her final completed work just before her death. And it was believed to be her, like, farewell to the world. She did die of natural causes. Okay. Nothing sketchy that I know of happened with that. But it was just, like, kind of dark that happened, that she said that. Okay, so the poem in English goes, "It has come from here, right in this instant, my cry into the world. The past is only a shadow. Life was somewhere forgotten and sought refuge in depths of tears and sorrow."
Oh, thank you for the follow, Tings.
Oh, thank you!
Tings with wigs. Low.
Over this vast empire of solitude and darkness, where is the voice of freedom? Freedom to laugh, to move, without the heavy phantom of despair? Where is the form of beauty, unshaken in its veil, simple and pure? Where is the warmth of heaven, pouring its stream of love into spirits? It has to be from here, right this instant, my cry into the world, my cry that is no more mine, but hers and his. The comrades of my silence, phantom of my grave. That's a people to. It has to be from here, forgotten but unshaken, among comrades of silence, deep in Welfare Island. My farewell to the world. It is also what people are like, holy shit, she wrote that right before she died, kind of thing. Very beautiful poem, though.
Yeah.
So, Julia suffered from alcoholism, and it got even worse. Each, like, her last two relationships, her alcohol just got worse and worse with each ending of the relationship. And it was, like, really bad after that last divorce. And, so was her depression. Her depression was very bad. Eventually, she did die from pneumonia. She collapsed and died on a Harlem street on July 6, 1953.
Wow.
She was 39 years old. Yeah. Now, here, it gets more sad, okay? Because her fucking family didn't even know. She disappeared without leaving a clue as to where she went. And she was later discovered that in the early morning hours of July 5th, 1953. It was in the Spanish Harlem section of Manhattan. And she died of an, oh my god. I literally said it like a few minutes ago, but like looking at the actual word is just making my brain like not work.
You see. Pneumonia?
Jesus. Pneumonia. Yeah. See, I know, obviously I know the word. It's
Yeah,
that
you
P
just
that
said
really
it.
throws
You
me
just
off.
said it before,
Yeah.
so I know you know it, yeah.
Yeah, she died of pneumonia at the hospital shortly after midnight on July 6, 1950. No one knew she died for a while. And since no one claimed her body, she had no identification. The city gave her a pauper's burial. Eventually, some of her friends and relatives were like able to trace her, find her grave, and they claimed her body. And then a committee was organized in Puerto Rico, and they were able to get her body to come back over to Puerto Rico. And her remains arrived on September 6, 1953, and funerals held at the Puerto Rican Athenaeum. She was given a hero's burial at the Municipal Cemetery of Carolina. A monument was later built at her burial site by the city of Carolina. Since her death, she has been widely recognized as the contemporary father of Puerto Rico and of the, here's a fun word, New Yorican poetry movement in New York. Her work has been re-examined in recent decades and is often regarded as a forebearer of the literacy New Yorican movement.
Interesting.
In 1980, yeah. In 1986, Julia was awarded by the Spanish Department of University. Again, remember, this is all after.
Yeah, I'm adding her
In
to my books
1986.
thing so I can read her poetry later.
Yeah, I've gotten to see like bits and pieces of her poetry. Earlier I was trying to find a documentary and it ended up being in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't realize that at first. And so I was reading the subtitles while listening to the Spanish poem, but I was like, I can't listen to Spanish and type in English at the same time.
Yeah, I get that.
So I didn't get very far in that. But yeah. Here it was. Okay. In 1986, she was awarded by the Spanish Department of University of Puerto Rico and was granted a posthumous doctorate in human arts and letters. And then in 1995, Song of the Simple Truth, the complete poems of Julia de Burgos, was released. So, a complete collection of her poems was published by the Institute of Puerto Rican Culture in 2004 under the title Julia de Burgos, Obra Poetica. And on September 14th, 2010, in a ceremony held in San Juan, the United States Postal Service honored Burgos' life and literacy work with a first-class postage stamp, the 26th release in the Postal System's Literacy Arts series, which you can see the stamp here.
I'm gonna make
that
it bigger.
That stamp's so cool. She's so cool.
Beautiful.
It is. I really like it. I love the color. In 2011, Burgos was inducted into the New York Writers Hall of Fame. There was, in 2014, the National Puerto Rican Day Parade dedicated the parade, like the theme was to Julia de Burgos. And in September 2017, artist activist Molly Carbapple, who is also Puerto Rican descent, oh my god, English is hard.
Where is it?
Disbursed the profits of sales of her portrait of Burgos to Puerto Rican Hurricane Maria Recovery Fund. It was a 17 by 22 print captioned with one of the poet's most famous lines, "En todo mi lo juego a ser lo que soy yo Oh, wait. Oh,
En todo
that's English.
me lo juego a ser lo que soy yo.
I was like, wait, what? No, wait, that's English? I gamble everything to be what I am. Jesus.
Whoa, that's a hard-ass line.
That is a hard-ass line. That's pretty cool. May 29th, 2014, the Legislative Assembly of Puerto Rico honored 12... Sorry.
Okay.
May 29th, 2014, the Legislation Assembly of Puerto Rico honored 12 illustrious women.
What a word. Illustrious.
Yeah. Illustrious. With plaques in the La Plaza in honor a la mujer
La Plaza en honor a la mujer puertorriqueña. Kenya? Puertorriqueña.
Plaza in honor of Puerto Rican women in San Juan. According to the plaque, each of the 12 women who, by virtue of their merits and legacy, stand out in history of Puerto Rico, Burgos was among the 12 who were honored. I don't 100% know for sure if that statue is the same one, but this is a pretty wicked statue.
Yeah, this statue is really cool. Here, let me...
Even if it's not... Even if that's not it, this is a really wicked statue.
I love how it... Yeah, no, like, the rocks forming into the statue is so cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah, let me see if I can see what it says here real quick. República Dominicana. I
would have to...
Yeah, I can't... It doesn't say, like, it's on the plaza, but it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in Spanish.
I'll pull it up on my...
Yeah, I zoomed into it.
Julio
It's all in Spanish.
For her participation in the...
Something...
Dominican exile.
Yeah, something Dominican.
Exilio and liberation and militante. For the celebration of... Okay, cool.
Yeah. In 2018.
It's... Oh no, keep going. I'm trying to figure it out. You keep going.
No, you're good. But you have to listen to this though. This is crazy.
Okay.
So she died.
Mm-hmm.
She died.
So young.
In... Shit, I already forgot. She died in 1953, okay? We're at 2018. The New York Times published a belated obituary for
her. Whoa.
As a part of their Overlooked No More series.
That's cool.
It's cool that they did that,
yeah, no,
but
it's cool that they did that, but that's a while. Wait, no.
That's insane.
What was it called? No More...
Overlooked No More series. We're gonna have to look into that because I've never heard of that before. We're definitely gonna have to overlook.
That's an episode.
Overlook. Not overlook. We're gonna have to look into, not overlook. I'm gonna post that. There. Yeah, and there are so many documentaries. They're like, most of them are Spanish, I think, because everything I was finding was Spanish. But there are a lot of documentaries. Of course, all of her works have been published. So I definitely say, check her works out. So her work. She was a metaphysical poet, deeply concerned with themes of love and death and their meeting in the human condition. Her love for nature and her feelings for nostalgia for Puerto Rico, intertwined with her fine eroticism, were expressed in her poem dedicated to the longest river on the island, the Rio Grande de Luisa. And her work, Julia de Burgos, she challenged herself and all women to think about the roles society imposed on them and what they wanted themselves. Quote, again, translated into English. You are homebound, resigned, submissive, confined to the whims of men. Not I. I am...
let me see.
That is a word I've never heard before.
That
is a word I've never seen before. Very bottom of the dock.
Rocinante?
Yeah.
What is that? Let me see. It seems like it's a person or a thing. Like a... The
I was
name
like,
of an
I've
old
never
worn
seen that
horse belonging to a fictional. Oh, it's fictional knight Don Quixote or whatever. How do you ever say his name? It's Don Quixote's horse.
Oh,
The fictional.
see, this is why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I guess it's good to be well versed with things from that time. Okay. You are homebound, resigned, submissive, fine to the men. Not I. I am. What did you say it was again?
I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Rocinante?
Galloping recklessly, wandering through the boundaries of God's justice. Jesus. She's so, like, powerful with her words, though.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Lila Doesn't Know Words. Oh, Dre, you should have heard me earlier trying to pronounce Spanish words and Spanish,
I did not mean to
phrases and
that.
stuff. Oh my goodness. So many R's I can't roll and so many, like, other things I can't say. But yeah, like I said before, as much as, like, she loved Puerto Rico and her, like, Puerto Rican identity, she vowed to never return. Though she kept her promise, her poetry spoke of the social issues and national identity go, and, like, that never changed.
Yeah.
The subjects of the island's history, including colonialism, slavery, and oppression, woven into her poetry, and she also wrote her personal struggles and complicated love life. Her girlfriend had a huge complicated love life.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god.
A lot.
I feel so bad. Girlfriend had a complicated life. Oh my god.
And so young. So young and
I know.
So much lost and complicated and...
Jesus. Yeah, so that is Julia de Burgos.
Wow.
The poet.
Never
and
ever
activist.
heard of her in my life.
Yeah. She seems to be really celebrated in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, she's very celebrated in and a lot of documentaries and stuff I saw, it was like women talking about how much they respect her, value her, how much, like, of a brilliant person she was. And I love that because, like, even if at the time they didn't want to hear it, obviously work had a lot of impact on even today's generation. 2014 wasn't that long, was it?
It wasn't. But there's a whole Wikipedia page on all of those people that are on the overlooked obituary thing.
Oh, good.
So I sent that in our podcast ideas.
It sucks, but also good.
Yeah. Well, she was one of the first they did. She was like the 5th or 6th. Let me see. She was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. The 8th person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that they have that.
Yeah.
That they're doing that.
And I
no
definitely want to go through, like, make an episode where we just do a couple of these, because there's a lot of these that I have never heard of.
Yeah, if they were overlooked, then we definitely have never heard of most of them.
There are a few that I know, but not a whole lot. A lot of, like, the later ones. Like, they did, like, an International Women's Day, like, edition, and, I mean, Ida B. Wells is there, Marsha P. Johnson's there, Sylvia Plath's there, Ada Lovelace is there.
So some of them.
Yeah. So the Bronte, Charlotte Bronte is there. Yeah, there's a lot of people here that are here that I know, but a lot of the first, like, dozens that they did. I've never heard of any of those names. So.
Oh, Marsha P. Johnson. Yeah.
Love Marsha.
Oh, there's a lot of people I don't know on here, though. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, there's a whole lot. We'll definitely have to do an episode next season on this. For sure.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a fun episode. We got to learn about a lot.
Yeah.
First ever Hispanic Heritage Month episode that we've done, which I'm surprised.
I'm excited to, I'm surprised, one, but I'm also, like, excited to do this again because, again, I, like, know nothing on this topic, and, like, Sylvia Mendez, like, the fact that we never learned about the Mendez family around the time of learning about Brown versus Board. Like,
crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah. Because they used that case.
Yeah, it was a very important part of everything, so.
Yeah. Oh no, man. Oh no.
I know.
The fact that she's still alive today.
I know.
Because I feel like hearing things like that really puts in perspective how bad things actually were in this country just 80 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, God, World War II, like 80 years ago. What the fuck?
Literally.
Holy shit, Hitler was like 80 years ago. Oh my God. My mind is like blown right now. What the fuck?
I know.
That's why I started my thing with 80 years ago instead of the actual year. So I was like, it sounds more like in the now, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy.
Oh, crazy.
But, you ready?
Yes. I have someone. They are a Puerto Rican PNG tuber, I think.
Yay!
They're doing they said Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, let's read. Don't know what they're reading, but we're gonna read them. Oh God.
I really hope it's not anything too spicy.
I don't know, let's see. I don't think it's just music. All right, are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, we're ready.
All right. You can start the outro whenever.
That wraps up today's episode, but the celebration doesn't stop here.
Hispanic Heritage Month is all about honoring the creativity, culture, and contributions that continue to shape our communities and fandoms.
We hope you discovered something new, found some inspiration, and maybe even learned about a few legends from history.
Don't forget to follow, like, comment, and subscribe. And to stay up to date, join us on Twitter, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok.
Thanks for tuning in and celebrating with us, because heritage isn't just history. It's happening right now.
Dun dun dun! Goodbye! Bye-bye!
Woo! Goodbye! See you next week! Bye-bye! Oh, our anniversary's next week!
Oh yeah, anniversary next week!
Right?
Yeah. Anniversary next week, guys.
Anniversary next week, guys!
Right, bye-bye!